don't exist. You know what I'm saying? So when you read this about the tree of life, you got to remember, like, this stuff is like metaphors. These are metaphors in the Bible. So how can we understand what the tree of life is? So right now, we when you read this, this look like a real tree, right? This is why I say you got to know like history. You got to know the Old Testament. You got to know that. This is why you got to know that because in order to understand what's going on in Revelation, you got to know what's going on in the Psalms. Watch this. Blessed is the man who walk not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stand in the way of sinners, nor sit in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he does meditate day and night. So this says, blessed is a man who don't walk in the counsel of ungodly people. The ungodly, meaning a person who does not counsel with God's instructions. That's an ungodly person, a person who doesn't follow God, or nor stand in the way of sinners. Those with the way of sinners is people who break God's laws, nor sit in the seat of the scornful. The scornful is people who thumb their nose up at righteous things. But this person, the blessed man, his delight is in God's law, and he meditates day and night in God's law. So now the big point has become the law of God, right? Right? All right. It says, and he shall be like a tree. Uh-oh, like a tree. He ain't gonna turn to a tree, he will be like a tree. So now the metaphor is there. He shall, this person who is meditating God's law shall be like a tree planted by what? Rivers. So you gotta always look at your keywords. By the rivers of water, and this tree bring forth its fruit in its season, and this tree's leaf also shall not wither. And whatsoever this tree, which is a man, whatever he does, it shall prosper. Now go to Revelation, right? We'll go back to Revelation. And let's look at something. In the middle of it, and he showed me a pure river of water of life. In the Psalms, guess what is the river right here in Psalms? But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in the law he does meditate day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. Uh-huh. Why would you think it's not? What would make you think it's not the law? Because that's exactly what that is. It's the law. The rivers of water is the law because the tree is the man. What is he doing? What is this man doing? He's meditating on the law. So he's taking in the law. The tree takes in water. But because he's meditating day and night, he's constantly taking in the law. Just like a tree that's planted by a river, it constantly has water flowing because the roots are constantly bringing in the water because there's an abundance of water. You see what I'm saying? Just like the law, he's meditating day and night. Day and night, the tree is sucking in water through its roots, right? All right. And look, that bring forth his fruit in his season. Look at Revelation. In the middle of the street and on either side of the rivers of life, the waters of life, the rivers of the waters of life, was the tree of life, which bore 12 fruits, each tree yielding its fruit every month. It yielded fruit in its season, just like Psalms bring forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither. The leaves of the tree, Psalms, his leaf, the leaves of this tree, this particular tree. It says it will not wither. Why? Because of the rivers of water. And whatsoever he does shall prosper. Let's see what the leaves do here. The leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations, so they're prospering. So if in Psalms, this is a description of, this is a metaphor of something, now we have to ask who's speaking. Well, this King David, he wrote this. What is he talking about? He's talking about a man who keeps the law. Who kept the law? Who were commanded to keep the law? Huh? The children of Israel. Yeah, the children of Israel. So this is a description of what a child of Israel, a child of God, a believer, an Israelite. This is what an Israelite would be like if he doesn't walk in the counsel of the ungodly, if he don't stand in the way of sinners, and if he don't sit in the seat of the scornful, and he delights in the law of the Lord and meditate day and night. This is what he would be like. So if we this is a tree, Revelation is multiple trees. So what is the trees here? Be more specific. Look at the metaphor. Was the tree of life which bore 12 fruits, the 12 tribes. Now you see, this is not, in the end, it's not going to be this long river with two trees on the side of the river and people eating fruit off these trees. The fruit is the behavior. That's what Christ said, right? You know the tree by what? You know the tree by the fruit that it bears. That's how you know the tree. All right. Let me see. Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets who come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly are ravenous wolves. You will know them by their fruits. Now, this is what people do. What people tend to do is they look at the fruit as something that they may not like, right? So let's say, oh, this person is a false prophet. This person is a false prophet, because I don't know, they don't do a certain thing, right? But the fruit that comes is the keeping of God's law, right? That's the fruit that it's talking about. Do men gather? Well, you ain't got to go. So even so, every good tree bears good fruit, and every bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, nor can a bad tree bear good fruit. What does that mean? That's talking about keeping the law and not keeping the law. That's what he's talking about. The tree, the person, the people, he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water. In the middle of the street, on either side of the river, was the tree of life. So when you read the Bible, you got to kind of, it's a consistent theme throughout the whole Bible when you see metaphors. You know what I'm saying? So when you see metaphor, so when you read the Bible, you gotta read the Bible with the law in mind. All right, let's do something. Let's go. Give me something. Give me something you read. Let's look at it. Something you've read before, and let's look at it right quick. Give me something. Yeah, yeah, you can go get your phone. I got time today, cuz. X-Men. That's how it goes. Okay. Oh, you went deep, then. All right, well, what you reading in Job? Job what? Yo, all right, all right, let's look at it then. Let's all right, let me go to Job. Job what? All right, let's go. Let me hear your notes. Let me hear what you wrote down. Yo, yo. Are you so your verse? What verse? What are you getting from it? Like, what are you learning from it? Go ahead. What you say? Oh, what up, bro? Oh, okay, that's what's up. What's cracking? Yeah, that's what happened. It's judgment. So all right, so look, all right, start at verse one. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job. All right, so we got our character. He's in Uz. All right. And that man was a perfect and upright man. Whoa, what you mean he was a perfect upright man? How can you be perfect? How do you know that? Okay, well, I'll show you. Psalms, go to Psalms 19. Uh-huh. Right out, it's next to the book of Job, chapter 19. Read verse 7. So no, you start right there. All right. So when it says Job was perfect and upright, look what it just said. The law converts the soul, and the law is perfect. So perfection is not about you never make any mistakes. That's not what perfection is about. You get what I'm saying? So when somebody says perfect, like, oh, because the commandment is Be thou perfect, right? Let's find that. In Matthew 5:48, which is in more than one place, it says, this is Christ talking. He said, be therefore perfect, even as your Father who in heaven is perfect. Whoa, what do you mean? Because there's no way you can be the type of perfect the way the Father is. The Father is perfect. He is without fault. We would never be without fault, right? You can't live a life like no, you're gonna drop the ball somewhere. You see what I'm saying? So perfection is not about never doing nothing wrong, never making no mistakes or anything. That's not what perfection is. Perfection is following the law. Why? Because the law of the Lord is perfect. That's the only thing perfect on the earth is the law of God. That's the only thing that's perfect. Nothing else is perfect. You get what I'm saying? Nothing in creation is perfect. People, animals, plants, and definitely not anything manufactured because it was made by man. So it can't. That's why your phones mess up, your computer mess up, your TV mess up, car mess up, radio mess up, your house, gets old and certain things decay and things breaking. Nothing's perfect, but the law. But it says the law converts the soul. So if your soul is converted by the law, then that will make you perfect. Not because you don't sin or not because you don't make mistakes, because sin is the breaking of God's law. So if you're not breaking God's law, you're being perfect. That's what you are being. If you break God's law, at the moment you break God's law, that means you sin, you transgressed. You're not perfect in that state. So something needs to be done to perfect you or to make you perfect again. Well, what is that? That is the law of God again. But in the law, how do you become perfect again? Well, what did they do? They burned the sacrifice. Well, we don't burn sacrifice. We had a sacrifice in for us, and that was Christ. So in repentance, when you repent from whatever the sin is, in that moment, you've been what's called justified. And once you've been justified, that makes your state perfect again. You see what I'm saying? So when it says that Job was perfect and upright, it just means he kept the law. He was a man who kept God's law. And it says, and one who feared God, because even at the law, it says it makes the simple wise. It says the statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. So it gives you joy, right? The commandments of the Lord are pure, enlightening the eye. So it changes your perspective. The fear of the Lord is clean. Look at Job. He fears God. The fear of the Lord is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of the Lord are true and righteous altogether. So here is a man who is, the Bible says, is a clean man. He's perfect, upright. He fears God and he eschews evil, meaning he flees, he runs away. He doesn't, he does his best not to bring calamity on anyone, right? So that's a takeaway. Okay, so this is somebody that God sees as keeping his law. And there was born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. Well, them a lot of sons, them a lot of daughters. In that time, that showed you was a blessed person by God if you had a lot of kids. Now we don't want that because we want to live a certain type of lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? So we don't want a lot of kids. We don't want the work. You feel me? We don't want that. We still want to have that time to be able to come home, kick my feet up, watch TV, without, a whole bunch of kids jumping all over me. I got to cook all the time, clean. Because you got a lot of kids, you got to clean up a lot. Because it's a lot of kids, right? So people don't want that. But and back then, look, because let me show you that. And let me see. Children are a blessing. Like Psalms 127. Look at this. Psalms 127 and 3. You ain't got to go there. I'm just gonna read it. Psalms 127 and 3. He says, look, children are an heritage of the Lord, a blessing. That's what that is. Let me see if they correct that in there. Okay. Uh, Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord. The fruit of the womb is a reward. We said it again. Children are a heritage from the Lord. It's something you inherit from God, meaning children come from God. The fruit of the womb is a reward. So if a woman has a lot of babies, she received a lot of rewards from God. It's either the blessing toward the woman, like Hannah, like Rachel, who else was that? Zachariah, I mean Isaac, Rebecca, right? Where they prayed and then God gave them babies because they please him. But then you have men who the most high will reward with children as a reward toward the man. You see what I'm saying? So or it could be just a reward toward the family. But children in general are a reward from God. So when it says that Job has 7 sons, 7 is the number for completion or the number for perfection. He has a perfect blessing from God. That's what that means. Perfect blessing from God. He has 7 sons, 3 daughters. So he's a blessed man. That's what you would draw from that. Well, why is he blessed? Obviously, because he keeps the laws of God. So God is blessing him and rewarding him with children. That's how an ancient Israelite would read this, right? His substance also was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 5,000 yoke of oxen, 500 donkeys, a very great household. So that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. So he's blessed because he keeps the laws, and it says that he was the greatest. Because no, I guess obviously no one's keeping the law like him back in that time. It says, and his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone on his day, or everyone his day. So that is literally his birthday, right? How do we know that? Because when we go to the 3rd chapter, it says Job 3:1. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed his day. Well, what is his day? Well, let's see. And Job spake and said, now they're going to tell you what he said. Let the day perish wherein I was born. So what is his day? His birthday. His birthday. He curses his birthday. So back here, when it says that his children or his sons feasted in their house on his day, that's their birthday. They're having birthday parties. And sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. And it was so. When the days of their feasting were gone about, so when they finished celebrating their birthdays, Job sent and sanctified them. Why? Because in his mind, he feels they're doing something wrong. And look what he says. And he rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts, that they may have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. So Job saw this as an unrighteous act. But when you look into the whole birthday celebration, you realize the ancient details of it, where it comes from. It's something that the other nations around them did. It's not something that they did. It's something that the heathen nations, because it started with Babylon. That's where it all started, and it started as a celebration to the gods, or to a certain god. All right, god men, as they saw it. All right. So now what we draw from this? All right, we draw Job was a person who feared God. He kept the laws of God. God saw him as perfect. God blessed him for it. And when his sons, his family members, he saw them sinning, he was concerned for them so much that he went in prayer for them. So Job is a man who fears God. He loves God, keeps God's laws, loves his family, and prays for his family. That's what you can draw from that, right? Now, verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord. and Satan came also among them. So we have to identify that the sons of God are angels. These are angelic beings because Hashatan is there. But what does this mean that they presented themselves before God? Well, a council is called. That's what that means. God called a council. God is a guy who he calls a council. Like, hey, I'm about to do something on the earth. All the angels come to him and they find out what's going on. That's what's happening here. That's why Satan came up. When it says, and Satan came also among them, it ain't because Satan wasn't invited. He's there because he's invited. You see what I'm saying? It's not like it's not he ain't Killmonger. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he ain't Killmonger. He ain't just, pop in there talking about, hey, auntie. He ain't nah, he ain't no. Come on now, this guy's throne room. No, you not treating the most high like that. It's not going down. And then you see this because look at what he said. Look, and the Lord said unto Satan, where you just came from, what you been doing, what's been up? Whence comest thou? Where do you come from? That's what it means. Whence come? Where you come from? What have you been doing? He's calling him into account. Now, it's signal. This ain't the only person he would do. He's doing this to. He's doing this to all the sons of God. But they're separating Satan because there's a conversation that's about to be had between the Lord and Satan. You see what I'm saying? They all have a job to do. They all have a task. That's why they all are presenting themselves before him, and they come before him, and he's questioning them about how you been doing what you're supposed to be doing. Does he know? Of course. But this is it's not saying it. This is not literal. Don't read this as a literal thing. This is about telling you a story about a man's life, Job, and then it's giving you the spiritual implications of why this happened to Job. This is not literal. This is just how they envision, or this is how they what's called I guess personifying. They're personifying the spiritual implications of what happened to Job. They don't know what they don't. Job or whoever wrote this is not privy to what happened in heaven, but this is what they imagine happened, and they're just making this, not making it up, but they're reporting on a relationship between beings that they believe exist: God, Satan, angels, and so they believe that in the spirit world the forces work together. They work together to control what happens on the earth. And so they're giving this conversation between the Most High and Satan based on what they believe the characters of the two individuals are, the Most High and Satan. So they go, well, God said to Satan, where you come from? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down in it, because that's what they believed about Satan, that he's a being that just goes about in the earth and tempts mankind. Just like you have what's called I think the you have what, the yin and the yang and some yin yin and yang. The yin, yeah, the yin and the yang is a concept in Chinese philosophy describing how seemingly opposite forces are actually interconnected and independent in the natural world. It represents duality and balance, where each force contains the essence of the other. The symbol, often depicted as a circle, divided into black and white, illustrates how yin, which is dark and passive, and yang, light and active, interact and transform into one another. So when you look over here in this narrative, now it's not like the yin and the yang, but these people, of course, they got their belief system from another place. This is not is how people teach it, like yin and the yang, but it's they saying the Lord is good, Satan is evil. That he's the one. The Lord brings all of everything, but Satan is the instrument or the tool used to bring about calamity. Right? You good? You need to handle it? All right. So he answers God. So God calls him into question. This is one of God's angels, right? But this Hashatan, why is he called Satan? Which is Shatan, Hashatan. Why is he called the Satan, the adversary? Because he walks up and down in the earth tempting men. And if you listen to him and follow him, then he will tempt you to do evil. But this is painting a picture where, yeah, this being that does that, he gets his orders from who? Because they believe in this person. They believe in Satan. This is not Lucifer and all. That ain't none of that. They don't call him the devil. They call him Hashatan, the adversary. Why would he be your adversary? Because he's literally out here going to and fro in the earth and walking up and down in it, and his only purpose is to tempt you. He's not here to bring you good, glad tidings. He's not here to bring you something good or to give you something good or to make you right. He's here to make you stumble. And he gets his orders from God to do so. How do we know that? Let's keep reading. Now, up to this point, has Satan said anything about Job? Has God said anything about Job? Nobody said nothing about Job except the person that's writing. And he said Job is a perfect and upright man. Now watch this. Because you said in your notes that God gave Satan permission to do something, right? Is it permission or was it an order to do something? Did he just permit him to do something, or did God tell him to do something? I get why you said permission, but so what I'm gonna show you is more than just permission. Cause look, the Lord said he didn't come there and ask, "Hey, you mind if I go down there and mess with Job?" No. And the Lord said unto Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job?" Why? Because I've been going to and fro up and down in the earth, tempting people. Well, have you tempted Job? That's what God is asking him. Have you tempted Job? Did you consider my servant Job? You know, there that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that fears God and eschews evil. Then Satan answers. So it's God who actually brought Job up. See what I'm saying? Then Satan answered the Lord. Now Satan says, "Well, does Job fear you for nothing?" Why is he asking God that? Because God just said he fears me. And then Satan says, "Yeah, but I mean, is it for nothing though? Have you done anything to him to test whether or not he truly fears you though? Have you if you want to say have you allowed me to go like me? I see that he fears you, but he ain't been through nothing. Look at him. Like and look at what he says. Have you made a hedge around him and around his house and around all that he has on every side? Like, haven't you done that? Right? This you blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. Of course he fears you. He fears you because he hears the terrible things that you have done. But to him, nothing terrible has happened to him. You just blessed him. So his fear is just based on your blessings. His fear is not based on rooted on anything that's hard for him. You see what I'm saying? He hasn't shown that he still hold on to you, even though it's people who want and I'm just paraphrasing. I mean, freestyling. But in this, what you can pull out, Satan is saying, there's people who used to fear you, and when stuff went bad, they stopped fearing you. They was reading a Bible, then relationships got shaky, life got messed up, lost a job, and they stopped reading the Bible. They was praying to you, always constantly talking to you. because they needed something, and then once they got what they needed, or when they didn't get what they needed, when they what they wanted, they stopped talking to you. They stopped praying. So is Job like them? That's what he's asking. We don't know yet. That's what he's saying. We don't know if Job could be like them because all you've done is blessed him. You ain't let no hardship come to him. So then 11, he says, but put forth your this is Satan talking to God, giving because why? Because Satan is a part of God's counsel. Not that he's giving God advice, but God allows them to come in and give input on what goes on in the earth. And this is what he suggests to the Most High. Put forth your hand now and touch all that he has, meaning take what he has from him. If you take what he has, he will curse you to your face. This is the, excuse me, this is the accusation that Satan is bringing on Job, telling God that if you, not if you let me, you see what I'm saying? So it's not permission. This is Satan telling God, if you do this, if you take his stuff, he'll curse you. But since Satan is the instrument that's used to do these, to tempt men, that's the temptation. The temptation is if you take from him everything that he has, he will be tempted to curse you and he will fail at that, proving to you that he's not perfect and upright. That's his point. You get what I'm saying? Exactly. And he's like, but if you take his stuff from him, he won't be he'll yeah, he'll prove that he's not upright. He's only upright because he just got a bunch of stuff. He's blessed. You see what I'm saying? Like, and that's people every day. And just like when you look in the world and you look around, even at our own lives, sometimes when we look and be like, yeah, when we're doing good, we're happy, we're joyful, we're praying, we're reading, we're singing songs to God, we're doing all but then when stuff gets messed up, stuff start going crazy, do we stop doing that stuff? See what I'm saying? Because the Bible said God will put you through the fire. That fire, refining fire, that's to prove. And that's what he said, so that you come out like pure gold. And what happens is and this is the process, right? Uh Look at the process of purifying gold. Let's see. All right, let's go here. All right. I don't know if this gonna explain it to us, but okay, let's see. Refine it from scrap. All right. The processing of gold scrap varies. It says not only with the gold content, but also with the amenability of the gold in the scrap to extraction. Thus, the buccal gold may be recovered by leaching techniques using treated by the smelting to recover the balance. Generally, all right. Hold on, let's see. Let's go here. All right. Gold extracted by amalgamation contains a variety of impurities, including zinc, copper, silver, and iron. So it's saying gold, when it's extracted, it has a variety of impurities. These impurities are zinc, so other minerals, zinc, copper, silver, iron. Two methods are commonly employed for purification: the Miller process or the Wohlwill process. The Miller process is based in the fact that virtually all the impurities present in gold combine with gaseous chlorine, gold does temperatures equal to the greater metal point of gold. All right. Oh, well, let me read that. Combined with gaseous chlorine more readily than gold does at temperatures equal to or greater than the melting point of gold. So it's saying there's these impurities. What this person does is it melts down the gold. Oh, the impure gold. Okay, well, it's gonna explain. The impure gold is therefore melted and gaseous chlorine is blown into the resulting liquid. The impurities from chloride compounds that separate into a layer on the surface of the molten gold. So this saying when they bring in gold, let's say you went and dug for some gold, right? You found a gold nugget. All right. What they do is take that gold nugget and they melt it down because it's gonna more than likely have other things in it: zinc, copper, silver, iron, rocks, dirt, mud, right? So when they melt down the gold, these other minerals they can't withstand the temperatures that gold can. So when that fire that when it is melted down, that fire melts all the impurities, and the only thing left is gold. In the Bible, that was the same process that they used. They use that spiritually and say that's how God refines you. They call it the fire, your trials, tribulation. See what I'm saying? And those trials and tribulations, that fire lit up under you is gonna melt you down. That's why that the feelings that you have, all these emotions, that's why they say a melt. Somebody had a meltdown when let's say you, wow, this got get the cuss, man, y'all get on my nerve. Oh man, he had a meltdown. You see what I'm saying? Because that something got hot, and that just like water start to boil. That's the metaphor that's used. Is that boiling till you can't take no more, and then you blow your top, as they say. And now you screaming and hollering, fussing, cussing, doing all that kind of stuff because you got melted down. So in life, God will put you through what the Bible calls trials. The trials in the Bible are used as the metaphor that's used for trials is fire. He'll put you through the fire. Let's find it right quick. Um he himself. All right, First Corinthians 3:15. All right, First Corinthians 3. All right, all right, check this out. It says, "For we are laborers together with God. You are God's husbandry. You are God's building." All right. It says, "According to the grace of God, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another builds thereon. But let every man take heed how he builds their own." So your life, as she said, take heed of what you build on. Take heed of what you place your trust and dependency on, your confidence in. That's what he's saying. Is it your foundation built on God's word, God's laws, or is it built on something else? For it says, "For other foundation can no other man lay than that is laid, which is Christ. Now, if any man builds upon this foundation, gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble." All right, here's the point. Every man's work shall be made manifest. Your work, meaning what is the work? The work is your lifestyle. What are you doing? And as far as God's word is concerned, are you walking in the things of God or are you not? Is that really what's in your heart or is it not in your heart? Not, like I said, not saying that you won't drop the ball sometime, but do you always come back to it? Right? Well, how is it tested? It says, "For the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire." These are trials. "And the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is." So if you say you believe in God, you say you believe in Christ, you keep the laws, just like Job. If you say you're a perfect and upright individual, keeping the laws and that you fear God and eschew evil, then he's gonna send the fire and he's gonna see about that. You go, let's see. Yeah, let's see. It says, "If any man's work abide," meaning if he don't fall out the faith, you don't fall away from the law. Not saying that you had a bad day, a couple of days, and you didn't read the Bible today, but if you came back to it, "If any man's work abide, which he has built thereon, he shall receive a reward." What happened do you know the end of the story of Job? Okay. "If any man's work is burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire." What does that mean? He shall be saved as yet though by fire. Meaning you're gonna lose some things. You will survive. Like, okay, you go through a trial, you fail that trial, you're gonna lose something. You yourself, your life, you'll be preserved, but it'll be as though by fire. What is he saying? It's like if you in a house and your house catch on fire, you escaped out of the house, But guess what? You lost everything that was in the house. So you could take that to mean anything. A job, oh, you're on your job and you get tried on your job. You go off on your boss. It's a test. This is a trial. A fire meant to refine you. You failed the test. You might lose your job. You got fired. You're still alive, but you lost your job. You see what I'm saying? You lost your job. That's what he means. You'll be saved, but it'd be as if by fire, like you've been saved through fire, from the fire. You've been plucked out of it. So, right here, what you see in Job, that's what he's saying. That's what Satan is saying. If you test him, you will see that he's really not what he's about. And the Lord said to Satan, behold, all that he has is in your power. Only upon himself do not put your hand on him. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. So he didn't ask for permission to do anything. He told God to do it. But since he's an instrument used for these things, God says, okay, well, all that he has is in your power. Go ahead. You have the right to go down. I'll give you the power. If you want to call that permission, that's fair. But I give you the power to go down and just ruin his life. But don't don't touch him. Don't put your hand on him. Don't let no harm come to him. You can hurt anybody in his life. His mama, his daddy, his wife, his kids, his animals, his servants, his, anything. You could take anything from him. You could hurt anything, but except for him. Don't hurt him. And look at what transpired. And there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their oldest brother's house. There came a messenger. There came a messenger unto Job and said, the oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding beside them. And the Sabians fell upon them and took them away. So he got robbed. So now he loses his oxen. That's important because the oxen was the most important animal you had on your farm. So they went straight for the Bentleys. You see what I'm saying? The Lambos, the Range Rovers, they went for the big stuff. It says, yeah, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell you. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of God is fallen from heaven. Look what he said. The fire of God is fallen from heaven and has burned up the sheep. Now he went for that's the clothes. That's what the sheep was. It's the clothes, the milk. They didn't drink cow milk. They drank goat milk. So the goat would be counted amongst the sheep because the goat and the sheep, they herd together. It says, and the servants, and consume them. And I only am escaped alone to tell you. So now this was the Sabians. So he said, okay, men attacked you. Now servants came in and said, God attacked you. Not only did man attack you, God attacked you too. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands and fell upon the camels and have carried them away. Now, this is this would be your vehicles, really. Your camels would be your vehicles. I'm just saying the Bentleys because of the value. But this is your vehicles, the camels. That carried your stuff, carried your luggage, carried your family, your kids, your wife, even yourself. You know what I'm saying? Through the hot desert. And carried them away. Yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword. And I only am escaped alone to tell you. While he was speaking, somebody else came in. You talk about a bad day. Now his message was, your sons and your daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell you. When he said that, then Job arose and ripped his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshiped. Look at how he responded. He crashed out, but he crashed out controllably. It was a controlled crash out. He ripped his clothes. That was traditional stuff. And then he go and shaved his head. And then he fell on the ground and worshiped God. That's how he responded. He didn't crash out like go and kick none, break none, scream and none, shoot up some, slide. He didn't slide on the Sabians and the Chaldeans. He ain't gonna spin the block. You know what I'm saying? He ain't do none of that. Well, I guess he couldn't. Then he ain't got no camels. He can't do nothing. Can't go nowhere. Yeah. But look at what his attitude was. He worshiped God, and this is what he said: "Naked I came out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither." He's saying, "I came in the world with nothing. I'm going to leave with nothing. Nothing in this life is meant to be forever." That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. He's saying, "I can't be mad at losing. I can't be mad at losing everything because I came in the world with nothing. Everything that I had, God gave it to me. So if God gave it to me, look at what he said. The Lord gave, and since God gave it, if I lose it, then it's because the Lord took it. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord." Proving that he is a righteous, perfect, and upright man who fears God and eschews evil. He passes the test. Because what did Satan say he was gonna do? You remember? Yeah. What did Satan say Job would do if God did this to him? Yeah. But what did he say he would do? Verse 11. He will curse you to your face. Did Job do that? No. He blessed God. Job said he will curse you. But Job, he didn't. He did the opposite. He blessed God instead of cursing God. That's what because people curse God. What's up? They lose somebody. I don't want to serve a God who ever do something like that. Why did God do me like that? God is why you do. You see what I'm saying? Mm-mm. That ain't what he said. He blessed God. Yeah. And look what it says. In all this, Job did not sin, nor charge God foolishly, nor did he bring an accusation against God. How dare God do me like this? God, you wrong for doing this to me. Why me? Why are you doing this to me? See what I'm saying? He didn't do that. Now look at this. There was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves, chapter 2, present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, where you come? Where from whence do you come? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth and from walking up and down in it. And the Lord said to Satan, look at what he say. Have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in all the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that fears God and eschews evil? He's the same thing. And still he holds fast his integrity. I thought you said he was gonna curse me to my face, bro. Although you moved me, look at what God said. Although you, Satan, moved me against him to destroy him without cause. You moved me to do that. I heard what you said. I considered what you said. And I tested him to see if it was true what you said. You said he would curse me to my face because I blessed him so much, made a hedge around him, and if I took it away from him, he would curse me to my face. You moved me to do that to him, to take I did that to that boy. I took everything from him. I killed his kids, I killed his servants, I killed some of his animals, I had him robbed. Yeah, and he's like, it was without cause. I didn't have no reason to do that, and I did it anyway just to see if he would curse me, and he didn't even curse me. Look at what Satan says. And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin, yeah. All that a man has, he will give for his life. But put forth your hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he would curse you to your face. So he's saying, yeah, I mean, when it comes to material, people don't care about that stuff for real, because they can always get it back. But the thing that they value most is their health. That's what he's saying. The most important thing, because the most important thing to you is your health. You get what I'm saying? That's the most important thing to you. Like at the end of your life on your deathbed, you're not gonna be asking for more houses, more automobiles, more money, not even more food. You're gonna be asking for more time. You get what I'm saying? If you sick, how much money don't matter how much it don't matter how much you would rather be broke and healthy than rich and sick. You see what I'm saying? I would rather be poor and have great health and can function and be energetic and wake up in the morning and have joy and have my right mind than to be a rich, filthy rich billionaire with Alzheimer's. You see what I'm saying? Nigga forgot he had money. Yeah, so that's what your health is. That's what he's saying. A man's health is what's the most important. So if you take that from him, he'll curse you to your face. And the Lord said to say, behold, he is in your hand, but save his life. Fine, go ahead. Take his health from him, but do not take his life from him. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown, unto the crown of his head. So from the bottom of his foot to the very top of his head, he had sores and boils. Now imagine how man he you know how painful that must have been. Because no matter, and this the picture is pain is he had it all over his body. So whether he walked, whether he sat, whether he laid down, only thing that he could have done to relieve himself from pain was to float, to levitate, and that nigga couldn't do that. So he was in constant pain. And look, and he took him a potsherd, so a piece of glass, to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. So he took a piece of glass and just was scraping his skin, busting blisters. That's what it's saying. When it says he scraped himself, he's got a piece of glass and took the sharp part. You know how you have a blister and you get a safety pin and bust it? That's what he was doing with this piece of glass, this piece of pottery. He was busting blisters all over his body. Imagine that. Disgusting. Got to be disgusting. Because look at what his wife said. Then his wife said unto him, do you still retain your integrity? Hey, bro, why don't you just curse God and die, bro? You done lost everything. All your kids are dead. Servants are dead. People have abandoned you. Your animals are gone. People robbed you. And now you got boils from the sole of your foot to the top of your head, and you're in constant pain. And you sit in the ashes, busting these nasty blisters, and you still talking about blessed be the name of God. Your life is over, bro. It's done. Why don't you just curse God and die? That was what she said. Curse God and let him kill. And look at what he said. But he said unto her, you speak as one of the foolish women speak. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of God? And shall we not receive evil? In all this did not Job sin with his lips. He still said nothing wrong. He said he's speaking right. That's why it says in this Job did not sin with his lips. Because what that's saying is the good you receive, that come from God, and the bad you receive come from God. So when we find ourselves in the position of mad because man, this is happening to me. He said, what? What am I supposed to do? I will be blessing God if if something good, if I hit the lottery, I'll be, oh, thank you, God. God, you amazing, man. God is good. That's how it is. Everybody wanna roll with God and walk with him when he gives something. It's like a fair weather friend, like people who only come around or only call when they need something, when it benefits them. That's the only time they want to tap in, right? Well, he's saying, should I only tap in with God when I want good from him or when he's giving me good? Is that the only time I should be dealing with him? He said, should I not receive evil from him also? He is the God who does it all, right? Ain't that what it says? Or is that Isaiah Isaiah 45? Isaiah 45 and 7. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. I'm the one who do. I do all of it. I bring bad on you and good on you. I bring evil on you and good on you. That's what he's saying, right? Verse 11. Now, when Job's three friends heard of this evil that was come upon him, they came everyone from his own place, Eliphaz the Timnite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamite. For they had made an appointment together to come to mourn with him and to comfort him. So they all got together and said, man, let's go holler at Job, bro. I heard some bad, heard he going through it. Let's go pull up on Job, man, and encourage that brother. And when they lifted up their eyes from afar and knew him not, they lifted up their voice and wept, meaning he was so jacked up they didn't even recognize him. They heard his he lost all his babies. He done got robbed. Some of his animals done died. His servants done got murdered. He's going through it. And I heard he was sick. And then when they pulled up on him, they already know he lost everything. And when they finally see him, they just start crying. Imagine that. He was so that's how bad he was. That's how much he was going through it. It was so bad for him that his friends just started. And look at what they did. And they rent everyone his mantle and sprinkled dust upon their heads toward heaven. So they sat with him upon the ground 7 days and 7 nights, and none spoke a word unto him. For they saw, huh? It's possible it could be literal, but it's just saying for several days. A lot of so they whether it's 7 days and 7 nights, it was they just said, man, for some days they sat with this brother and said nothing to him. And it says because they saw that his grief was so great. Yeah, what do you say to a person like that? What do you say? You just lost all your kids. You just got robbed. A lot of your animals and died. A lot of your servants and got murdered. You got boils and sores from head to foot, and your wife is in your ear talking about, look at you, disgusting nigga. You might as well die. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. His wife, the person who's supposed to be the one there comforting him, is telling him is you better off dead because she's disgusted by him. And she's looking at him like, oh my God, look at what he's going through. Ugh. Let me get away from you, this nigga. But she can't just leave him. So she like, won't you just die? Because she don't want to be with him. His wife want to leave him. His kids, servants that got murdered, animals that got stolen, and some of them dead. And he got all types of sores and boils on him. He going through it. Exactly. He was busting well, he's busting the blisters. That's what I mean when he's scraping. He's busting the blisters. And then his friends see him and they see that state and they just start crying because it's so bad. And then they sit down with him on the ground and don't even speak for days. They don't say nothing. Now, chapter 3. After this, Job opened his mouth. So the first, after they was quiet, the first thing he said, because the last thing he did was bless God. The next time he opened his mouth, now he cursing. Man, F my birthday, nigga. F the day I was born. That's literally what he's saying. Nah, Joe, don't talk like, man, nah, nigga. You see what's going on with me, nigga? I wish I wasn't even born, nigga. That's what he on. And he's obviously mad, hurt, afraid, depressed, traumatized. He's going through it. This ain't no, oh, curse the day I was born. Nah, man, get that white European stuff out of our heads. We can't think like, nah, this nigga is talking like a nigga. Mother, the day I was born. That's literally look at what it this just described he was going through. You think he's like, oh, bless, oh, curse the day I was born. No, nigga, no. No, 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 no. Now he's flipping his top. Now he crashing out. Yeah, he crashing out now. See, before he was cool. It got worse when Satan came and made him sick. Now, yeah, he crashing out now. And Job spoke and said, let the day perish when I was born, and the day in which it was said, there is a man child conceived. He said, I wish God that whole day, the day that I was born, I wish God would just take the whole day away. If there was is that if there's 7 days on the calendar, now he wished there was only six. That God would just take the whole day, look, the whole day. It says, let that day be darkness. Let not God regard it from above, neither let light shine upon it. This is, even though it sounds poetic and it's no, this nigga is crashing out. This nigga is trying to curse. He cursed a whole day. And it's light for us. We don't, cause we don't really care like that. Or we ain't really serious about days and stuff like that. We're too distracted with the world. No, no, no. That's all you niggas had. And this niggas, what he's saying, when he's saying this stuff, is this is deep. Let darkness and the shadow of death stain it. Let a cloud dwell upon it. Let the darkness of the day terrify it. He literally hate the day he was born. That's what he's saying. The day, I wish that day never happened. Like he wished his mom and daddy never met. He wished he died. Oh, he gonna get into it. You'll see. As for the night, let darkness seize upon it. Let it not be joined unto the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. That's what he want now as a memorial for his birthday. Not something to be looked at as a day, a special day that I should look at and say, man, I was born on this day. Nah, let this be a day that everyone looks at and say, this is the worst day of the year. Lo, let the night be solitary. Let no joyful voice come therein. Let them curse it that curse the day, who are ready to raise up their mourning. Let the stars of the twilight thereof be dark. Let it look for light. Let it look for light, but have none. Neither let it see the dawning of the day, because it shut not up the doors of my mother's womb, nor hid sorrow from mine eyes. So he's saying, let that day be dark, because that day didn't shut up it didn't cause my mama to have a miscarriage. That's what he's saying. Huh? Yeah, it because it allowed him to be born. That day allowed me to be born. Why didn't I die from the womb? Yeah, no, I get you. But yeah, he's spazzing. I wish I would have died. I wish I would have just been, wish I would have, look, Why did I not give up the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why didn't I just die than to live my life to this point and suffer what I'm suffering through? He wished his mama had a miscarriage or an abortion. Why did the knees receive me? Or why the breast that I should nurse? So he like, why did my mama starve me to death? Okay, if I had to be born and I had to come out, then why did I wish my mama would have just starved me to death? She didn't kill me before I was born. If I didn't die at birth, then why after I was born, I wish she would have just starved me to death. For now, I would have lain still and been quiet. See, if I would have died, I'd have been asleep. I wouldn't be going through this. I wouldn't have had to deal with the news that my kids, the worst news that anybody can receive is that their kids are dead. Your son got shot and he's dead. This is the police, and such and such had a car wreck and they're dead. And that's the worst news you can receive. This dude got a word that all of his kids died at the same time. While somebody was telling him how his animals died. While somebody was telling him that he got robbed. While somebody was telling him that his servants got killed. While somebody telling him God attacked him. And these niggas attacked you over here. The ops slid on you. Nigga, not just the ops, nigga, God slid on you, nigga. Nigga, God and the ops slid on me? Ah. Right? He says, I would have been asleep. So he's telling you what this is the mindset of what they believe happens to you when you die. Sleep. Then I would have been at rest. The kings and the counselors of the earth who built ruins for themselves. I mean, with kings and counselors of the earth who built ruins for themselves, or with princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver. Or why was I not hidden like a stillborn child, like infants who never saw light? Right? That's miscarriages, stillbirths. There are the wicked cease from troubling, where those babies go, where those powerful men go, and there the weary are at rest in the afterlife. There the prisoners rest together in the afterlife. They do not hear the voice of the oppressor in the afterlife. The small and great are there in the afterlife, and the servant is free from his master in the afterlife. That's what he's talking about, the afterlife, the grave, not heaven. He ain't talking about going to heaven and kicking and drinking wine and you know, yeah. He said you sleep. Why is light given to him who is in misery, and life to the bitter of soul, who long for death, but it does not come. People who want to die don't die, and the people who do want to die, people who want to die don't die, and the people who want to live, those are the people who die. That's what he's saying. I want to die, yet death won't come for me. I ain't trying to commit suicide. I just wish God would just bring death on me without me cursing him and doing something unrighteous. Just kill me. That's what he's saying. And search for more than hidden treasures, who rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. The grave. Excuse me. Wise light given to men whose way is hidden, and whom God has hedged in. For my sighing comes before I eat. My sighing comes before I eat, and my groanings pour out like water. So he's in constant pain and constant sorrow. That's rather than all right. Woo, about to eat, baby. You know how you about to, you get that food, nigga hungry up in that mud, you know what I'm saying? That food hit the plate, that plate hit the table. Nigga, it's just your heart skip a beat. Say I'm capping. Your heart skip a beat. That nigga said, nah, not me. I sigh. I feel like, man. And then he like my groanings. That's a groaning. Because when you take a step, he's stepping on boils. When he sit down, like think about that. When you take a smash, you do a number two. This hurts. Every everything hurts. He said his groaning, they pour out like water. It's under this don't stop. all day. He says, "For the thing I greatly feared has come upon me." Look at what he's resigned to. Like what the thing I feared the most has happened, and what I dreaded has happened to me. My greatest fears have come to life, and I am not at ease, nor am I quiet. I have no rest, for trouble comes. Now he realized it's here. Tribulation is here. The thing I feared the most is here now. Trouble is upon me. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what it's just my life is over. That's what he's saying. My life is over. Because that's why he feared it the most. He feared that the most because it's like to lose everything would mean my life is over. And that's what happened then. He lost everything. All right. Fourth chapter. Like you said you went 1 through 4, right? All right. Then Eliphaz the Temanite answered and said, Now, all right, we'll read it and I explain. If one attempts a word with you, will you become weary? But who can withhold himself from speaking? So he's saying, if I say something to you, will you be mad at me? You're like, but I mean, look at you though. Look at this situation and listen to what you're saying. Who can just sit here and hear and listen to you, look at you, watch you, and not say, I gotta say something. He says, and look what he says. Surely you have instructed many, and you have strengthened weak hands. Your words have upheld him who was stumbling, and you have strengthened the feeble knees. You've been there for everybody else. You've been the one you instructed people. You told them the way that was right. You gave them the commandments. You strengthened weak hands. You saw people who was falling off. You came through and you gave them words of encouragement that made them feel strong. You kept them from sinning. He says, Your words upheld him who was stumbling, the person who was stumbling. You gave your words, you gave rebukes and encouragement and advice, and he was able to get his life together. And you have strengthened the feeble knees, those who wanted to give up. You gave a word to them and you was there for them, and it gave them strength to keep going. But now it comes upon you and you are weary. It touches you and you are troubled. Why? He said, why ain't you strengthening yourself? Why don't you do that for yourself? The same thing you did for everybody else. Why don't you do that for yourself? Is not your reverence, your confidence, and the integrity of your ways your hope? Remember now, whoever perished being innocent. It's like, remind me. That's what they remember now. Remind me. Whoever perished being innocent. Because you talking all this stuff, you talking, cursed the day you was born and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, nigga, you act like this ain't like you ain't did nothing or something. You act like you perfect and upright, like you fear God and to shoot evil. That's literally what he's saying to Job. You talking like you some righteous nigga or something. Even at he said, or where were the upright ever cut off? When was an upright person ever done like this? When have they ever been cursed by God? That's what he's saying. Even as I have seen, those who plow iniquity and sow trouble reap the same. He's right here just accused Job of sinning. He's saying, I've seen this too many times. People who go through this stuff is because they break God's laws. That's what he said. Those who plow iniquity and sow trouble, evil, calamity, they reap the same. Karma. That's what he's telling Job. What's happening to you is karma. But what did the scripture say about Job? Didn't it say Job was a perfect and upright man? That he feared God and eschewed evil? Yeah, his friend is telling him this is karma. This bad stuff happening to you because you did bad to other people. Verse 9. Now he good. You need to take care, deal with what you gotta deal with. You straight. Okay. All right. Verse 10. Oh, verse 9. By by the blast of God they perish. Meaning God, he destroys the wicked. That this is God doing it to you because you have been sinning against him. And by the breath of his anger they are consumed. The roaring of the lion, the voice of the fierce lion, and the teeth of the young lions are broken. The old lion perishes for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness are scattered. Now a word was secretly brought to me, and my ear received a whisper of it. In disquieting thoughts from the vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men, fear came upon me and trembling, which made all my bones shake. Then the spirit passed before my face. The hair on my body stood up. It stood still, but it could not discern its appearance. A form was before my eyes. There was silence. Then I heard a voice saying, can a mortal be more righteous than God? Can a man be more pure than his maker? So he said sharing a vision with him. And he's saying a spirit came and spoke something to me. And he asked this question. He said, can a man be more righteous than God? And can a man be more pure than his maker? Because Job, you sounded like you're trying to you're saying that God did this to you, and yet you're claiming that you're a righteous man. God wouldn't do this to you if you was righteous. That's what he's saying. Because he's saying this happens to wicked men, to evil men. So are you more righteous than God? Because you wouldn't do this to somebody who didn't do nothing to you. You wouldn't do evil to somebody who didn't do evil to you. So you're claiming that you didn't do evil to God, yet God did this to you. Are you more righteous than God? Why would God ever do this? See his perspective. This friend, how his perspective is. His perspective is God don't do this to righteous people. That's people say that all the time, even to this day. Huh? Oh, well, I mean, what did it say about Job? What kind of man did it say he was? So, but who did this to him? So you tell me, is it wrong? Yeah, he don't know what he's talking about. He don't know what he's talking about. It says if if he puts no trust in his servants, if he charges his angels with error, see how he talking? He talking crazy. And what he just saying is God is just so perfect. He's perfect. He's perfect in his righteousness. Even the angels, he says, even the angels are sinners as far as God is concerned. Now that's not true because the scripture says that the angels obey God, that they obey his commandment. But this man that's speaking, who is a Temanite, and guess what a Temanite is? An Edomite. Yeah. So white boy. So he's telling Job that all this nonsense, he don't know, man, he don't know nothing about Job's God. How much more those who dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, who are crushed before a moth. They are broken in pieces from morning to evening. They perish forever with no one regarding. Does not their own excellence go away? They die even without wisdom. So he just called Job a fool. Yep. Because he just showed up to Job's house, sat in the dust after he saw it, and has been thinking for days. And then he's been one obviously been thinking, man, I wonder what Job did to God to make God do this to him. He didn't do nothing. So then when Job started speaking and cursing this day, the day he was born and all that, saying, I wish I was dead, I shouldn't have been born and all this. He like, bro, how dare you say that, man? Just take your punishment. Stop sitting here acting like you ain't do nothing to deserve this. I know, right? Yep, definitely. Now we're gonna read verse 5. I'm gonna read chapter 5 with you. All right, so he says, call out now, Is there anyone who will answer you? And to which the holy ones would will you turn? And I mean, and to which of the holy ones will you turn? So he said, go ahead and pray. Go ahead and pray. Ain't nobody gonna answer you, bro. You know doggone well you evil. You know you wicked. You know you did something wrong. For wrath kills a foolish man, and envy slays a simple one. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I curse his dwelling place. His sons are far from safety. They are crushed in the gate, and there is no deliverer. So what? Why is he saying this? Because Job lost all his children. His sons are far from safety. They are crushed in the gate, and there is no deliverer. Because the hungry eat up his harvest, taking it even from the thorns, and the snare snatches their substance. For affliction does not come from the dust, nor does trouble spring from the ground. Yet man is born to trouble, as the sparks fly upward. What is he saying? Trouble is always like it's always gonna be here. It has always been here, and trouble was here before you got here. So if you do evil, that trouble is gonna find you. That's what he's telling Job, because he's telling them, I've seen the wicked take root. I seen what happened to them. I seen wicked man, and that's how it is. They see wicked man, and then stuff happened to him. They're like, yeah, God did that to him because that nigga was wicked, right? And so he's telling Job, you're no different. You're a wicked man. That's why your kids dead. That's why you lost everything. That's why you like you. That's why you're sick. That's why you where you at, because trouble found you. Trouble found you obviously because you brought trouble on others. What he's doing is obviously he's assuming Job was so rich because he was doing something wrong. He says, but as for me, I would seek God, and to God I will commit my cause. Why does great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number? He gives who does great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number. He gives rain on the earth and send waters on the field. He sets on high those who are lowly, bro. You're proud, talking about curse the day you're born. You know you sin, bro. You need to be humble yourself. And those who mourn are lifted to safety. He frustrates the devices of the crafty, Job, you nigga, so that their hands cannot carry out their plans. He catches the wise in their own craftiness, and the counsel of the cunning comes quickly upon them. They meet with darkness in the daytime and grope at noontime as in the night. But he saves the needy from the sword, from the mouth of the mighty, and from their hand. So the poor have hope, and injustice shuts her mouth. Behold, happy is the man whom God corrects. Therefore, do not despise the chastening of the Almighty. You see that? He's talking about, he's telling Job that. Happy is the man whom God corrects. He's telling Job, you wouldn't stop acting like you was perfect and upright, a person who feared God and eschewed evil. Stop acting like that, bro. Because this is God's correction of you. Be humble and don't despise this chastening that God is giving you. For he bruises, but he binds up. He wounds, but his hands make whole. Now, if when we're in sin, this is something that we should remember. Yeah, okay. He gonna spank you. He put belt to butt. He does that. But he binds up. He'll wound you. He'll scramble your life, test stuff up in your life. But his hands make whole. He'll also fix your life too. If you humble yourself, that's what he's telling them. Look. He sets on high those who are lowly. You gotta humble yourself. That's what he's telling Job. And those who mourn are lifted to safety. So you should be mourning, but man, you should be mourning over not what you lost, mourn over what you've done. That's what he's telling Job. And he says, because God, he bruises, but he binds up. It's all good. Just confess your sins, bro. He shall deliver you in six troubles. Yes, in seven, no evil shall touch you. In famine, he shall redeem you from death, and in war from the power of the sword. You shall be hidden from the scourge of the tongue, and you should not be afraid of destruction when it comes. You shall laugh at destruction and famine, and you should not be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For you shall have a covenant with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with you. You should know that your tent is in peace, and you shall visit your dwelling and find nothing amiss. You shall also know that your descendants shall be many, and your offspring like the grass of the earth. You shall come to the grave, excuse me, as a full age, as a sheaf of grain ripens in its season. Behold, this we have searched out. It is true. Hear it and know for yourself. So he's telling Job, bro, you ain't sitting here, you sitting here acting like you ain't did nothing for this to happen to you. God don't move like that. God don't do that to people who ain't did nothing. And if you did do something, bro, just be humble and accept your punishment and have some accountability and take responsibility for your sin. And the Lord, he'll bind you up, bro. He'll heal you. He'll fix you. You're obviously still sick because you still keep acting like you ain't did nothing wrong. But if you go ahead and confess your sin, God will take care of you. I seen this. I seen how this happened. He said, and then he goes, I'm telling you, hear it and know this for yourself. And I'm gonna read one more chapter with you. Job's Job's defense of himself, right? Let me see. How many times? All right. And then because it's like a back and forth. His friends was accusing him of doing stuff. And then, well, oh, and then I'll read one more chapter after this when somebody started speaking with some sense. All right. Then Job answered and said, "Oh, that my grief were fully weighed, and my calamity laid with it on the scales. For then it would be heavier than the sand of the sea. Therefore, my words have been rash." So he said, "I haven't really said much because, bro, I'm so much in sorrow. I haven't really spoken much. I'm hearing you, but nigga, I got something to say to you, nigga." He says, "For the arrows of the Almighty are within me. My spirit drinks in their poison. The terrors of God are arrayed against me. Does the wild donkey bray when it has grass? Or does the ox low over its fodder? Can flavorless food be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the white of an egg? My soul refuses to touch them. They are as loathsome food to me." They're like, bro, can't you see me I'm I haven't done, I'm depressed. I haven't done nothing, bro. I won't even eat. I can't even eat, bro. Like, does guilty people act this way? That's what he's saying. Guilty people don't act like this. Just, oh, that I might have my request, that God would grant me the thing that I long for, that it would please God to crush me, that he would loose his hand and cut me off. I wish he would just kill me. Like, I wish he would just do me like that instead of doing me like this. Because then I would still have comfort. Though in anguish I would exult, he will not spare, for I have not concealed the words of the Holy One. What strength do I have that I should hope? And what is my end that I should prolong my life? Is my strength the strength of stones, or is my flesh bronze? Is my help not within me, and is success driven from me? To him who is afflicted, kindness should be shown to by his friend. He said, nigga, a person going through what I'm going through, nigga, you should be trying to say something to me to cheer me up, nigga. Even though he forsakes the fear of the Almighty. He said, even if he forsakes that, you still should be nice to me, bro. You talking crazy to me, my nigga. Come accusing me, being passive aggressive. Says, my brothers have dealt deceitfully like a brook, like the streams of the brooks that pass away, which are dark because of the ice, and into which the snow vanishes. When it is warm, they cease to flow. When it is hot, they vanish from their place. The paths of their way turn aside. They go nowhere and perish. The caravans of Tema look. The travelers of Sheba hope for them. They are disappointed because they are confident. They come there and are confused. For now you are nothing. You see terror and are afraid. Did I ever say, bring something to me, or offer a bribe for me? I mean, for me, from your wealth, said, did I ever ask you, nigga, to come and have I ever asked you to like do something wrong? Have I ever done that? Have I ever offered you a bribe? Have I ever tried to get over on you or deliver me from the enemy's hand or redeem me from the hand of oppressors? Teach me and I will hold my tongue. Cause me to understand wherein I have erred. Nigga, if you say I done something wrong, show me. That's what he's saying. If you gonna sit here and tell me that I've done something wrong for this to happen to me, tell me what I've done then. Don't sit here and call me evil, call me bad, call me a bad, and you won't even tell me what I've done. You just say, oh, nigga, you don't do, nigga, show me what I've done then, bro. Say, how forceful are your word, how forceful are right words? But what does your arguing prove, bro? What you talking about? What does it prove? You ain't proving nothing. You're just accusing me of doing wrong, but you ain't even told me what wrong I've done. You know my life. Tell me what I did. Do you intend to rebuke my words and the speeches of a desperate one, which are as wind? Yes, you overwhelm the fatherless and you undermine your friend. And what he's talking about himself. I have fatherless. I have no one, and you come here talking crazy to me, and you're undermining me, telling me that I'm sitting here calling myself righteous when I'm not. Now, therefore, be pleased to look at me, for I would never lie to your face. Yield now, let there be no injustice. Yes, concede. My righteousness still stands, my nigga. I ain't did nothing, fool. Is there injustice on my tongue? Cannot my taste discern the unsavory? And then he goes on, he continues to, say more of the same, kind of defend himself, and then he go back into nigga, hey, he goes, yeah. So I'll read this part. He says, have I sinned? What have I done to you, O watcher of men, since you seen it all, since you observed these things? What have I? You see the sarcasm? He says, why have you set me as your target, so that I am a burden to myself? Why then do you not pardon my transgression and take away my iniquity? He said, if I done did sin, why didn't you sacrifice for me? Why didn't you do me like I did my kids? When I sacrificed for them, why don't you do if since I'm such a sinner? For now I will die down in the dust, and you will seek me diligently, but I will no longer be. So his other friend, Bildad, he ends up talking. He does the same thing. As you see the title where it says Job should repent. That's what he basically tells Job. Like, nigga, quit acting like you ain't did nothing wrong, nigga. Stop that, bro. Stop it, Job. Stop, bro. Job comes back. There's no, just talking about, the righteousness of God and all that kind of stuff. And then he said, I will plead with God. Zophar urges Job to repent. Job answers his critic, then Job defends. So the whole time, if you notice, what happened was his friends showed up and they saw him and they sat with him. And now, as they're having these conversations, all they're doing is accuse the book of Job is about Job not understanding that God inflicts evil on men who are righteous. He didn't believe that. And that's what Satan was telling God. He hasn't cursed you. Of course he fears you, but does he fear you for nothing? All you've done is blessed him. That's all he know. All he know is blessings. He don't know anything else. So then Job, when this stuff started happening to him, he's confused. He's like, what did I do? What did I do to deserve this? I didn't do nothing. Like, why would God treat me this way? Why would he do me like this? I mean, he lost everything, all the way down to his health. So he's like, man, why would you let this happen to me? I thought you defend the righteous people. I thought you stand for them. I thought you blessed them. And God taught him a lesson. And his friends showed up to tell him, yeah, bro, stop saying you ain't did nothing. You obviously did something. In order for God to do you like this, you had to have done something. And that's how even people would act even now. Where they're like, oh, if you ain't got a certain thing, and we'll feel like that even about ourselves. I ain't got a certain house. I ain't got a certain car. I ain't got a certain amount of money. My dreams ain't come true. I didn't get this. I didn't get this. This didn't work out for me. That didn't work out for me. Surely because God. Now, God will, he does pass judgment. But just because bad things are happening don't mean you did something wrong in order for that to happen. It don't mean that people can want to not want to be around you, don't want to be in your life, don't, but it don't mean you've done something wrong. They may not just like the way you are, like something you've done, like what you said. They don't like the way you said it. They don't like the way you do. But did you break the law? They showed up to tell Job, you done broke the law. And he's trying to tell them, nigga, I ain't did nothing of the such. I don't know what you talking about. So he's constantly defending himself, right? Look, Eliphaz, he accuses Job to folly. So then look, Bildad, he start doing that, you're wicked, huh? Man, Bildad was popping off, wasn't he? All these niggas was popping off. Look, Eliphaz accuses Job of wickedness. That's the Edomite. Then Job complains of the violence on the earth. Then Bildad, how can man be righteous? Then Job, man's frailty and God's majesty. So he's still making the case about God. He's just saying, man, bro, God, I'm trying to figure out how it works. That God is righteous. He's righteous, and I'm righteous. So why would this happen? Got to think that it wasn't coming. So he's trying to understand who is this God and how does he move and function? Because he is righteous. He's obviously righteous. But I'm righteous too. I haven't broken his laws. Why ain't I being blessed? Why am I being cursed? I don't get it. He was confused. Now the whole time it was why was it happening? To test Job's faith. That's why it was happening, to test him, not as a punishment. He was seeing it as a punishment. This is happening to me because God hates me. This is happening to me because God. That's what he was trying to figure out. Why is God doing this? So then summary defense shows well. He defends his righteousness. Now, this I want to read. Now, this is Elihu, right? Now he was the youngest of them all. This is the young, the young man. The other ones, they are the OGs, right? Condemn self-righteousness, proclaim God. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, yeah. All right. So he comes in and he starts to speak some sense, right? He goes, so these three men ceased answering Job because he was righteous in his own eyes, right? That's how they saw Job. They just stopped talking to him like, man, this nigga, man, he keep talking about it. We keep trying to show him that nigga, you need to own up to your sin. But Job keep talking about he's righteous. And man, what's the point of talking to this nigga? Right? That's how they felt. Then the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barakel, the Buzite of the family of Ram, was aroused against Job. His wrath was aroused because he justified himself rather than God. Also against his three friends, his wrath was aroused because they had found no answer and yet had condemned Job. So he's more balanced. He's mad because Job just keeps talking about his own righteousness, but he's not talking about the righteousness of God. And he's mad at his friends because his friends don't have a reason to say that Job sinned, yet they condemn him. He says, now because they were years older than him, Elihu had waited to speak to Job because there's an order, right? He had to wait his turn. They going back and forth, but he's out of it. These are OGs, these are elders speaking. So he kept his mouth shut. So when Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, his wrath was aroused. Why? Because there's no wisdom. They're not giving him any answers. They're not helping Job. They're just hurting him. So Elihu, the son of Barakel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young in years and you are very old. Dang, nigga, look, think about that. Man, I'm old. Y'all some old niggas. I'm young, huh? I say what? That nigga said, "I am young, y'all some old niggas, man." He says, before I was afraid and dared not declare my opinion to you. I said, age should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in man, and the breath of the Almighty gives him understanding. Great men are not always wise, nor do the aged always understand justice. Therefore I say, listen to me. I also will declare my opinion. So he's saying, just because y'all are older, it don't mean y'all right just because y'all older, because old people don't always have the right answers. He said that's obvious, right? He says man has a spirit in him, and the Most High still has to breathe understanding to that man in order for him to understand. So he says, great men are not always wise. Just because you did something great, well, not I say that, but this is great men of many years. So yeah, I agree with that. This talking about age. So he's saying old men are not always wise. Just because you live for a long time don't mean that you have the experiences and you have all the experiences in life. Or just because you have a lot of experiences in life don't mean that you have always walked away understanding the lessons that they were supposed to teach you. You're not wise just because you're old. That's what he's saying. Nor do the aged always understand what's right. That's what that means. Justice. Old people are not they don't always understand what's right. It says, therefore I say, listen to me. So hey, I know I'm young, but don't feel like I don't have nothing to say just because I'm younger than y'all. Don't act like y'all can't learn nothing from me. That's what he's saying. He says, because I'm going to give you my opinion. So yeah, I'm gonna let y'all judge if what because I could have the answer. Just because I'm young don't mean I don't have the answer. So he goes, indeed, I waited for your words. I listened to your reasonings while you searched out what to say. I paid close attention to you, and surely not one of you convinced Job or answered his words, lest you say, we have found wisdom. God will vanquish him, not man. Now he has not directed his words against me, so I will not answer him with your words. So he goes, I'm not gonna talk about what y'all was talking about. He ain't said nothing to me. So I'm not gonna piggyback off of what y'all saying. He says, they are dismayed and answer no more. Words escape them. So they ain't got nothing else to say. Compels me. Indeed, my belly is like wine that has no vent. Like I'm like, he's saying, I gotta say this. Says, it is ready to burst like new wineskins. I will speak that I may find relief. I must open my lips and answer. Let me not, I pray, show partiality to anyone, nor let me flatter any man. For I do not know how to flatter, else my maker would soon take me away. All right. So he kind of gives his introduction. Now he goes, but please, Job, hear my speech and listen to all my words. Now I open my mouth. My tongue speaks in my mouth. My words come from my upright heart, and my lips utter pure knowledge. So he's saying, I'm upright in my heart. I'm not here to judge you. I'm not trying to, you know, be unfair to you. It's like, but I'm speaking pure, just knowledge, just facts. I'm just giving you the facts. That's what he's saying. I'm not here to try to convince you. I'm just giving you the facts. He says, the Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. If you can answer me, set your words in order before me. Take your stand. Truly, I am as your spokesman before God. I also have been formed out of clay. I'm a man. I'm just a man, just like you. Surely, no fear of me will terrify you because I'm younger, nor will my hand be heavy on you. So just hear what I'm saying. Surely you have spoken in my hearing, and I have heard the sound of your words, saying, I am pure without transgression. I am innocent, and there is no iniquity in me. So he's saying, I've heard what you said. So you can't say I don't know what I'm talking about when I'm answering what you said, because I heard you say these things. This is what you said. He said, yet, so you're saying you're innocent, and you have no iniquity, and you are without transgression and is pure. Yet God finds accusation against you, and he counts you as his enemy. He puts my feet in the stocks and watches all my paths. Look, in this you are not righteous. I will answer you, for God is greater than man. Why do you contend with him? For he does not give an accounting of any of his words. Like God don't owe nobody no explanation for anything. God, he said, God can do what he want to do, if anything. Whether you are good or righteous or not, it's still God's right to do what he want to do. For God may speak in one way or in another, yet man does not perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men while slumbering in their beds, then he opens the ears of men and seals their instruction, in order to turn man from his deed and conceal pride from man. He keeps back his soul from the pit and his life from perishing by the sword. Man is also chastened with pain on his bed and with strong pain in many of his bones. So he's saying men learn that way too. He deals with men in their dreams, in their sleeps, when they're awoke, through pain, through adversity. Like God does all this so that his life abhors bread. Oh, hold on, let's start with yeah. And his soul succulent food. His flesh wastes away from sight, and his bones stick out, which once were not seen. Yes, his soul draws near the pit, and his life to the executioners, meaning he's on the verge of death. Man, God will bring man to the verge of death. If there is a messenger for him, a mediator, one among 1,000, to show man his uprightness, then he is gracious to him and says, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. His flesh shall be young like a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. Meaning God can bring you to the point of, God has brought men to the brink of death and then brought them back and then made them just as strong as they were before they even got sick. That's what he's saying. He shall pray to God and he will delight in him. He shall see his face with joy, for he restores to man his righteousness. Then he looks at men and says, I have sinned and perverted what is right, and it did not profit me. He will redeem his soul from going down to the pit, and his life shall see the light. Behold, God works all these things, twice, in fact, 3 times with a man, meaning he'll do this to a man more than once. What you're going through, people go through this all the time. That's what he's telling Job. This is not uncommon. There are righteous men who suffer. God does this to men. He does what he want to do. And he does this twice. Matter of fact, he does this 3 times to the same person. He says to bring back his soul from the pit, that he may be enlightened with the light of life. So he says he'll take you through bad situations, make life the hardest for you. You'll think, oh my God, man, thank God is trying to destroy me. And he'll take you to the brink, even to the brink of death, and then bring you back. And he'll do all that just to enlighten you, just so you can learn about life. That's the whole point. That's what he's saying. The point of God doing these things is to teach you something. He brings trials on you and tribulation on you to teach you something. That fire, he takes you through the fire so that you can learn something. He says, give ear, Job, listen to me. Hold your peace and I will speak. If you have nothing to say, answer. If you have anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify you. He says, if not, then listen to me. Hold your peace, and I will teach you wisdom. Now listen, that's a young nigga talking to the OG. If you got something to say, I'll listen. I wanna hear what you got to say to what I said. But if not, then okay, hold your peace and let me teach you then. Because these niggas ain't telling you nothing. Then he goes, Elihu further answers and said, hear my words, you wise men. Give ear to me, you who have knowledge. For the ear tests words as the palate tastes food. Let us choose justice for ourselves. Let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job has said, I am righteous, but God has taken away my justice. Should I lie concerning my right? My womb is incurable. though I am without transgression. He's saying that's just everything Job is saying. He said, what man is like Job who drinks scorn like water? What man is like that? Who just takes scorn? His wife talking about, won't you just curse God and die? And he don't even leave her. Who is like that? What other man is like that? Who goes in company with the workers of iniquity and walks with wicked men? Who does that? He says, for he has said, it profits a man nothing that he should delight in God. Therefore, listen to me, you men of understanding. Far be it from God to do wickedness, and from the Almighty to commit iniquity. Don't bring no accusation against the Most High. Don't tell him he's wrong for something that he's doing. Don't. No, no, no. He says, for he repays man according to his work, and makes man to find a reward according to his way. Surely God will never do wickedly, nor will the Almighty pervert justice. So he said, no matter what, you're still not too righteous for God not to do something to you, if that's what he chooses to do. Because he will never do that. So he's saying it's impossible that you, so that's that perfection. Perfect. He's telling Job, you're not perfect, not like that. Everybody does something wrong. Everybody drops the ball, somewhere. So he's saying you're not to the point, to the degree where you just don't deserve anything bad happening to you. He says, who gave him charge over the earth? Who gave God permission to rule the earth? Or who appointed him over the whole earth? Who told God it's okay for him to, like, he does what he want to do. If he should set his heart on it, if he should gather to himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh would perish together and man would return to dust. He said, we're only alive because of him. We exist because of him. If he takes back his spirit and his breath off the earth, everybody dies. Everybody dies. He said, if he sets his heart to it, if he sets his heart on it, he says, all flesh will perish together and man would return to the dust. If you have understanding, hear this. Listen to the sound of my words. Should one who hates justice govern? So if God, because he said, Job said what? God has taken his justice from him. God is being unfair. So he says, should one who hates justice govern? Because God rules the world. He says, will you condemn him who is most just? How can you say God hates justice and he governs the world? Look around. If he hated justice, then we would never find justice. But yet we find justice. We find righteousness. We find things that are right. There's things in your life that you can say, it's okay, yeah, I appreciate this. It's like, even if not in your life, that's in the world. You can look at other people's life and say, dang, that's okay. That's what's up, man. I'm glad she got that. She deserved that. Man, he deserved that, man. I'm glad that happened for him. I'm glad. He's like, yeah, you're praising justice that comes from God. How can he hate it? That's what he's asking him. Because he's saying that's what Job is saying in his words. You're saying God is somebody who hates justice. God don't hate justice. Is it fitting to say to a king, you are worthless, and to nobles, you are wicked? Yet he is not partial to princes, nor does he regard the rich man more than the poor, for they are all the work of his hands. It says he's impartial. He's not partial to, but he don't okay, you see rappers, singers, actors, actresses, dignitaries, presidents, managers, bosses. You see all these people, and people give them a certain respect simply because they're doing something that they feel is incredible. Somebody famous Drake comes to town, everybody lose their mind. Niggas won't even go to work. Niggas gonna miss some bread. Niggas miss bread because they just want to, because they heard Drake was at Walmart. Niggas will leave their jobs, risk losing a job just to get a glimpse of a nigga or a female. Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, I don't know, Michelle Obama, President Obama, Donald Trump. Niggas will lose because they're impartial. They're not just. They're not balanced. It's just a man, just a person. It says God is not partial to princes. He don't give them long life simply because he's somebody important to people. You don't live forever simply because people look at Michael Jackson. No, he was more beloved than anybody in modern times. Dead. Princess Diana, beloved, dead. God is not partial. Says, nor does he regard the rich more than the poor. He don't let rich people live longer lives simply because they're rich. And then with the poor, he don't care. Like he just don't care about what happens to the poor, but he cares about what happens to the rich. No, that's earthly stuff. For they are all the work of his hands. In a moment they die. In the middle of the night, the people are shaken and pass away. The mighty are taken away without a hand. So saying just because a nigga is mighty don't mean that, like the nigga, okay, he ain't die on the battlefield, but it don't mean you ain't gonna die. It's like that nigga could be as strong as he wanted, and then he'll die. He can die in his sleep. The Most High is not partial. He says, "For his eyes are on the ways of man, and he sees all his steps. There is no darkness or shadow of death, where the workers of iniquity may hide themselves. There is no way where they can hide. For he need not further consider a man. God don't have to consider man, that he should go before God in judgment. He breaks in pieces mighty men without inquiry, and sets others in their place. Therefore he knows their works. He overthrows them in the night, and they are crushed. He strikes them as wicked men in the open sight of others, because they turn back from him and would not consider any of his ways, so that they cause the cry of the poor to come to him, for he hears the cry of the afflicted. When he gives quietness, excuse me, who then can make trouble? And when he hides his face, who can see him? Whether it is against a nation or a man alone. He says, if God withdraw himself, there's nothing you can do. God, the point that he's making is God can do whatever he wanna do. Who are you to tell God how to govern the earth? Who are you to tell God how to treat the wicked versus how to treat the righteous? How to treat the rich versus how to treat the poor? He's not like you. He's not impressed by anybody. That's his point. God is not impressed by anyone. He says that the hypocrite should not reign, lest the people be ensnared. For has anyone said to God, I have borne chastening, I will offend no more? Like, oh, has anybody? Of course, of course, niggas say that all the time. I have borne your chastening, meaning, okay, you punish me, you got me, yeah. If you stop punishing me, I promise I'll never do that again. Of course, niggas have said that all the time. So his point is, men are unjust, not God. Teach me what I do not see. If I have done iniquity, I will do no more. Says, do people say that? He said, shall he repay it according to their terms? So should God, just because you say, I'll never do, if you stop, if you don't punish me, if you stop punishing me, I'll never do it again. Does that mean he need to stop? Is he gonna stop simply because you said that? Can you make a deal with God? That's what he's asking. And his point is rhetorical, because no, you can't. You can't make a deal with God. You don't tell God, if you do this, I'll do that. You don't do that. That's his point. God does what he want to do. It's best to just ask him to do something rather than offer him something for doing it. He's God. What can you give him? There's nothing you can give him. So he's not impartial and he's not unjust. He gonna do what he want to do, regardless. Men of understanding, he says, yeah. Should he repay it according to your terms, just because you disavow it? You must choose, and not I. Therefore, speak what you know. Says, answer me. Says, men of understanding, say to me, wise men who listen to me. Job speaks without knowledge. His words are without wisdom. So he's saying, Job, I hear you, bro, but you're not thinking about what you're saying right now. You're hurt. You're speaking out of hurt. You're speaking out of depression, out of fear, out of anger. It says, oh, that Job were tried to the utmost. Why? Because Job lost everything. And that's what he's saying. And that's what he's letting them know. Job is being tried. It says, because his answers are like those of wicked men. Listen to you. You sound like a wicked man. You're not cursing God, but you're talking as if God is unrighteous and you're righteous. That's what you're talking like. You're talking as if God is unrighteous. Like you're the righteous person, and then because God let this happen to you, somehow God is unrighteous because this has happened to you. For he adds rebellion to his sin. He claps his hands among us and multiplies his words against God. So he checks Job, young nigga. Let me see how many chapters. All right, so two more chapters. Two more chapters. Because this is important. I want to break this down for you. Y'all good? Y'all straight? All right. Chapter 35. Moreover, Elihu answered and said, do you think this is right? Do you say my righteousness is more than God's? Right? He says, for you say, what advantage will it be to you? What profit shall I have more than if I had sinned? So he's saying, shoot, I mean, Job is like, what he's saying, Job, you're talking about what, I mean, I should have went ahead. If this happened, if I knew this was gonna happen to me, shoot, I should have went on and just broke the laws. I should have just wilded out. That's what he's saying. That's why he told Job, you're talking foolish, man. You sound crazy. Oh, if I knew you were going, if I knew that was gonna happen, now you're starting to regret your righteousness. So how can you declare yourself to be righteous? How can you declare yourself to be righteous if when wrong comes upon you, you regret the righteousness that you've done? It's sort of like if you do good for somebody and then they turn around and do evil to you, and then now you regret that you did the good thing. So how can you say you're a good person? So the thing that you did wasn't done out of a good heart. It was done with an ulterior motive. And you obviously didn't get what you wanted out of the deal. So how can you use that to say that, look at this, this is evidence that I'm a righteous person? When you didn't get what you thought you should get out of it, you regret that you did what was righteous. Now you wish, or you're saying, I should have just done evil. So now what does that make you? It make you an evil person. So you was evil all along. You just didn't know it until you was tested. That's the point. So he goes, I will answer you and your companions with you. Look to the heavens and see, and behold the clouds. They are higher than you. If you sin, what do you accomplish against him? Or if your transgressions are multiplied, what do you do to him? He said, you can't hurt God, man. You talking about, oh, I should have just went up. What how you gonna do, how does that, what are you gonna accomplish against him? What you gonna do? You gonna make heaven go in a frenzy? Oh, you sin, and now God's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do now. It says, if you are righteous, what do you give him? Or what does he receive from your hand? It's rhetorical, but the answer is nothing. You can't add or take away nothing from God. You can't add nothing to God, and you can't take nothing from him. Simple as that. He's saying God is going to be God regardless. Righteousness is for your sake. When he gives you instruction and laws and tell you to be righteous, it ain't for him, it's for you. And if you commit sin, he ain't changed. You the one got to bear that. It says, your wickedness affects a man such as you, and your righteousness a son of man. So whether you do good or bad, it only affects people, not God. Because of the multitude of oppressions, they cry out. They cry out for help because of the arm of the mighty. But no one says, where is God, my maker, who gives songs in the night, who teaches us more than the beasts of the earth, and makes us wiser than the birds of heaven? Who does that? It says, there they cry out, but he does not answer because of the pride of evil men. Surely God would not listen to empty talk, nor will the Almighty regard it. Meaning, if you come to you saying you walk with him, you need to be walking correct. If you say you talking to him, you need to talk correct. You need to come correctly. You need to come with respect. You need to come with reverence. Most High ain't trying to hear this. You did this to me, man. He ain't trying to hear none of that nonsense. Nigga, I do what I want to do, fool. And you killed my 7 sons and my 3 daughters. And nigga, I kill you, nigga. What? That's what he's saying. That's how the Most High. He does what he want to do. What you gonna do about it? Although you say You do not see him, yet justice is before him, and you must wait for him. He ain't got to wait for you. You got to wait for him. You want something from him. He don't want nothing from you. What can you give him? It says, and now because he has not punished, I mean, now he, and now because he has not punished in his anger, nor taken much notice of folly, therefore Job opens his mouth in vain. He multiplies words without knowledge. So he said, because he has not punished in his anger, meaning the Most High he ain't punished in his anger, meaning he ain't killed you, nor taking much notice of folly. Like you're talking crazy and you ain't dropped dead. You saying what you're saying and God didn't kill you. Just because you ain't curse him, you thinking, oh, I'm righteous. And what I'm saying is wisdom. Nah, nigga, you just talking because you saying you talking crazy, but God ain't killed you for it. So you keep talking in vain. You keep opening your mouth in vain. And now you're multiplying your words, but it's without knowledge. You're saying a whole lot, but you ain't saying nothing that actually matters. You're not saying the right thing. So he goes, Elihu also, this 36, Elihu also proceeds and said, bear with me a little, and I will show you that there are yet words to speak on God's behalf. I will fetch my knowledge from afar. I will ascribe righteousness to my maker. For truly my words are not false. One who is perfect in knowledge is with you. Behold, God is mighty and despises no one. He is mighty in strength of understanding. He does not preserve the life of the wicked, but gives justice to the oppressed. He does not withdraw his eyes from the righteous, but they are on the throne with kings. But they are on the throne with kings. For he has seated them forever, and they are exalted. And if they are bound in fetters, held in the course of affliction, then he tells them their work and their transgressions, that they have acted defiantly. So he's saying, when it comes to kings, he says, they're on the throne and God is watching them, right? He puts them on the throne for them to be there, and they're there forever, meaning they reign until they die. He expects for them to do a good work and for them to walk in wisdom. When they don't, they find themselves in chains and fetters, chains and handcuffs. They're going into slavery, going into to being enslaved as a king. And because of that, once that happens, it says, then he's able to talk to them, because what happens is the king gets lifted up just like a regular person get lifted up because they doing so much good. And I mean, not so much good, but they're getting so much good and so much good stuff is happening that they're not considering that they're just men. So then they take advantage and they start to sin or they start to drift, and then they don't even inquire of God. They don't hear from God. They won't hear nothing God said and all this kind of stuff. And God has to bring them down. And then when God brings them down, now they're humble and now they want to hear what God has to say. And then God can tell them their transgressions. That's what he's at. That's what he's saying. And that they have acted defiantly. He also opens their ears to instruction. Through what? Through trials. See that? And if they are bound in fetters, this is a king. He's saying a king. Now he's saying a king because that's the highest you can be as a person in the land, as a human being. The highest you can go up in society is a king. So he's saying the Most High uses affliction to teach you. It's the same thing that we read earlier. He uses affliction to teach you, right? He says, and commands that they turn from iniquity. So he'll allow trouble to come on you. If we're sinning, and it feels like we're getting away with it. After a while, he smacks us down, and then he can show us. And then he tells, hey, man, you need to turn from that sin. You need to stop doing that. And now, because what happens? You do, and when, let's say you're doing something, nobody sees it, you get caught. The things you do is you start to think about what you was doing. You start to think about how it was wrong, and you start to think about, man, I should have, I would have, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have. You didn't think of none of that during the time when you were sinning. It wasn't until the Lord smacked you down. Then he's able to show you your iniquity. That's what he's saying. Says, if they obey and serve him, so if they repent, they shall spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasures. But if they do not obey, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge, because they never learned, they never listened, they didn't repent. But the hypocrites in heart store up wrath. They do not cry for help when he binds them. So he's saying when the hypocrite, when the Most High smacked them down, they still act like everything is all good. Kuda Matata. So they're storing up wrath. They die in youth, and their life ends among the perverted persons because the hypocrisy is perversion, twistedness. So the Most High done smacked them down, but they just act like everything is all good. They're not crying for help, right? It says he delivers the poor in their affliction. He opens their ears in oppression. Yeah. Indeed, he would have brought you out of dire distress into a broad place where there is no restraint, and what is set on your table will be full of richness, if you would just humble yourself. That's what he's saying. But you are filled with the judgment due the wicked. Judgment and justice takes hold of you. Why? Because you haven't humbled yourself. That's his point. Because there is wrath. Beware lest he take you away with one blow, for a large ransom will not help you avoid it. Will your riches or all the mighty forces keep you from distress? Because that's what Job felt. I shouldn't be going through this. I'm rich. This don't happen to blessed people. They don't lose all their children, lose their houses and their animals, and get sick like this and have boils. Do not desire the night when people are cut off in their place. Take heed. Do not turn to iniquity, for you have chosen this rather than affliction. So he's judging Job's heart now. Now he's like, yeah, you're regretting being a righteous man. When good people go bad because they're being good, and I'm doing good, and I'm doing good, and I'm doing good, and I'm doing good, and nothing seemed to be returned to me. And after a while, you get weary, and you're like, I might as well just shoot. Just like people, you cheat on me, I might as well turn around and cheat on. I might as well be a cheater too. Every time I get with somebody, that's what they do to me. So I might as well just do that. I might as well just don't even take nobody serious. I might as well. But shoot, niggas be stealing from me too, man. I'm out here I'm on my job, trying to do my job, doing the right thing, and doing it. And everybody else, nobody seem to care about what they doing. Yeah, don't nobody show up for work. I'm showing up every single day. And these niggas, they be missing all kinds of days, and don't nobody say nothing to them. But any little thing I do, somebody got something to say to me. I might as well be like them. That's what he's getting at. It's that question. If you are righteous, then do what's righteous regardless what comes to you. Because if you are righteous, that's all you can do is righteousness. But if you start doing wickedness because good don't come to you, or you don't get a certain result out of it, and now you start doing wickedness, guess what you're showing? You were wicked from the beginning. That's his point. And he's encouraging Job, don't turn to iniquity. Don't let this cause you to be a wicked man, a sinful man. It says, behold, God is exalted by his power. Who teaches like him? Who teaches, who does that? Who teaches you through your affliction? Right? That's what he's saying. Who has assigned him his way? Right? Or who has said, you have done wrong? Who dare say that to God? Who made him God? That's what he said when he said, who has assigned him his way? Who made him God? Who made him righteous? When he says, thou shalt not commit murder, who taught him that? Thou shalt not steal. Who taught God that? And who can ever say he did wrong, that he needed to repent, that he needed a savior? And what he's saying is, man, God is wise, man. He's all wise. And anything that comes in your life, he knows. Matter of fact, he knew before it would happen. He knew it was coming in your life. He assigned it. So if you find it in your life, the best thing to do is to keep being righteous. That's his point. Because God, he already knows. Right? He goes, remember to magnify his work, of which men have sung. Remember to magnify. You got to remember what God has done in the past, i.e., when he got us out of Egypt, when he delivered us when he delivered us from the Philistines during the time of the judges, when he took us out of Assyria, took us out of Babylon, took us from the hands of the Greek, took us from the hand of the Romans. You have to remember these works, even in your own life, the good things that God has done in the past that you knew God did this. remember that and always sing about that. Meaning you give him honor, you talk about those things, whether it's to others or to yourself, but you always remind yourself of the good things God has done. Since everyone has seen it, man looks on it from afar. Behold, God is great, and we do not know him, nor can the number of his years be discovered. For he draws up drops of water, which distill as rain from the mist, which the clouds drop down and pour abundantly on men. Indeed, can anyone understand the spreading of clouds, the thunder from his canopy? Look, he scatters his light upon it and covers the depths of the sea. For by these he judges the peoples. He gives food in abundance. He covers his hands with lightning and commands it to strike. His thunder declares it. The cattle also concerning the rising sun, the rising storm. Let me see what's next. Now he just he's still making much of God, and then he ends. Therefore, men fear him. He shows no partiality to any who are wise of heart. Right? He says, as for the Almighty, we cannot find him. He is excellent in power, in judgment and abundant justice. He does not oppress. God don't oppress. Oppression is taking away something you deserve to have unrighteously or being unfair. That's what oppression is. It's when you're being unfair to somebody. Saying God is not unfair. And let me see what's next. All right, I got it. Just this one. And this, I promise, this is gonna be well. I'm gonna read this and then we'll just look at the end of Job. All right. Because this is when Most High flex. He goes, this 38. Then the Lord answered Job out of a whirlwind and said, who is this who darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Man, who is this idiot talking and he don't know what he's talking about? That's how the Most High came on the scene talking to Job. Who is this idiot? Huh? Yeah. Yeah, he calling him an idiot. Who is this idiot opening his mouth? Who is this who darkens counsel? Counsel is wise, is wisdom. Who is this who darkens it? By words without knowledge. You're speaking about something you don't know about. You got words coming out, but you don't know what you're talking. There ain't no knowledge in it. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just talking. Who is this idiot running his mouth? Now prepare yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me. That's a check. If the Most High show up in your dreams and tell you, prepare yourself like a man, that's disrespectful. With all disrespect, he's saying that. Prepare yourself, because you're a man, you're a creature. I'm God. Who are you? Now I will question you. That's scary because God is all knowing and you don't know crap. Now I will question you and you shall answer me. That's scary because you're like, man, he mess around and ask me some stuff I have no clue about. And I have to answer him. Or I need to beg for his mercy, not to destroy me because that's the command. Answer me. I'm going to ask you something and you better answer me. Same thing like your kids. If you get in trouble, they got kids. Your kids, like X-Man, somebody, your teacher called, said he undid something. And as soon as he come home, you'll say, I'm tell you right now, I'm going to ask you something and you better tell me the truth. That's literally what God is saying right here. I'm finna ask you some stuff. Since you got so much to say, I'm finna ask you some questions, and you better have some answers. Since you know what you're talking about. Since I'm unrighteous, since I'm unfair, since I'm doing evil to you, since you so righteous and I'm so unrighteous because this done happened to you and I ain't protect you. Okay, nigga, let's see. He says, where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth, my nigga? Tell me if you have understanding. Where were you at? Come on, answer me. Come on. Where were you at, bro? Who determines his measurements? I mean, surely you know. See the mockery? Surely you know. Nigga, you running your mouth. You talking. You keep talking. Surely you got the answer. Who stretched out the line? Which person did that? Who did that? Who stretched out the universe? Who measured it? Let's go. Watch this. Let's look at it. In the beginning, this is the Elohim. In the beginning, Elohim, Elohim is Elohim, but it's Elohim. Elohim, the judges, the rulers, the divine ones, the angels. Which one? Which one did it? Which one stretched out the line? Come on. To what were its foundations fastened? When they were doing this, when this was happening, when they created the heavens and the earth, and all this was happening, how did they fasten the foundations of the earth? What is it founded on? What is the earth sitting on? What's at the bottom of the earth? That's what he's asking. What's at the bottom of the earth? Have you ever noticed, like when you see pictures of NASA, right? These are not real pictures. None of these are real. None of these are real. This is not real. That's not a real image. It's not a real picture. It's not real. None of this is real. None of this is real. That's not real. These are just depictions. There's no such thing as a real picture of the earth. None of it. When you do get into real pictures of the earth, like that's the whole the flat earth joint, they mocking, but that ain't what the Bible describes. But either way, like this. That's not real. They just do all this stuff and make it grainy and make it seem like this is not even a real picture. It's not real. It's not real. It's not real. It's just not. None of this is real. None of it. To what were its foundations fastened? The ground. What does the ground connect to cause the ground to stand, to be still as it is and not crumble underneath your feet? Or who laid its foundation? Which one of my Elohim did that? When the morning stars sang together, the Elohim, that's who the morning stars are. When the morning star, the Hallel, that's not the Hallel, that's the Boker Kabah. All right. So when these angels, the morning stars, sang together, and all the sons of God shouted for joy, or who shut in the sea with doors? Name them. Who did it? When it burst forth and issued from the womb. When I made the clouds its garment and thick darkness its swaddling band, when I fixed my limit for it and set bars and doors, when I said, this far you may come, but no farther. And here your proud waves must stop. Have you commanded the morning since your days began? Since you was born, Job, have you ever commanded the morning? Have you told the morning when to begin? Have you ever done that? Have you ever decided this is when the morning should start? Today morning, I want the sun to rise. When you look on your phone and you see when the sun rises at different times every day. It don't rise at the same time. He's asking Job, when did you cause the light to shine? When did you tell what time the sun should shine? And cause the dawn to know its place? Have you ever done that since you've been born, my boy? He says that it might take hold of the ends of the earth, and the wicked be shaken out of it. It takes on form like clay under a seal, and stands out like a garment. He's talking about just a sunlight, the morning dawn. It forms like clay under a seal. From the wicked, their light is withheld, and the upraised arm is broken. Have you entered the springs of the sea? Or have you walked in search of the depths? Have you ever been to the bottom of the ocean? Have you been to the deepest part of the sea? Have the gates of death been revealed to you? Do you know when somebody dies, Have you been to the entrance of the place where I take those souls? Have you ever been there? Have they ever have has they ever been have the gates of death ever been revealed to you? Do you know where death is at? Do you know where people go when they die? Have you ever been in that room where all the sleeping souls are at? Or have you seen the doors of the shadow of death? Do you when somebody is near death and death don't take them, have you ever seen where death disappears to when he don't take them? That's what he's asking. This is all the stuff God knows, stuff he sees. It's like, nigga, you don't know nothing, bro. You're running your mouth. Shut up. Have you comprehended the breadth of the earth? Tell me if you know this, my nigga, Mr. Smarty Pants. Tell me, where is the way of the dwelling of light and darkness? Where is this place? When you walk into a room and it's dark, where is the light? Where did it go? When you cut the light on and darkness disappeared, where did that darkness go? Tell me if you know that you may take it to its territory, that you may know the path to its home. Do you know where light lives? Do you know where darkness dwells? Have they ever showed you where they live so that you can take it to it if light gets lost? Look how facetious God is being. That's the point he's saying. If light gets lost, can you go and take it to its home? If have you ever seen light shine in darkness? And have you ever seen darkness in the light? And if they were out of place, do you know how to put them back in place? What do you know what darkness is not supposed to be and where light is not supposed to be? These are deep questions. You talk about some mind scrambling, brain scrambling questions. Oh, he asking some stuff. What? Do you know it because you were born then, or because the number of your days is great? Do you know it because you were born then, or because the number of your days is great because you lived a lot? Remember what did Elihu say? Just because you're old don't mean you have knowledge, right? This is what God is saying. Oh, do you know the answer simply? Do you think you know the answer simply because you're old? You think you old? Oh, because you old? You an old nigga? You smart nigga? You think you wise just because you're old nigga? Have you entered the treasury of snow? Listen, do you know snow? Watch this. Look at the uniqueness of a snowflake. Snowflake's uniqueness stems from its cloud native architecture that separates storage and compute, offering scalability, flexibility, and cost effectiveness. It also provides features like automate. No, that ain't what I'm looking for. Oh, look. The next time you're catching one with your tongue, a snowflake, you might stop to consider the long and arduous plight of the snowflake. Those delicate and intricate crystals have traveled many miles before they plummet to the ground alongside their trillions of cousins. And although they fly in multitudes, the word on the snow-slicked street is that no two of these little flakes are alike. Can every snowflake really be different? The short answer is yes. Every snowflake really is different from one another. Have you entered the treasury of the snow? Why is he asking it? Because from the time of since the beginning, every snowflake that falls, no two snowflakes are alike. Every single snowflake is different than the others. How? I have no idea. The wisdom of God. But no two snowflakes are alike. They are all different shapes and sizes. A phenomena, weird than the mug, right? Or have you seen the treasury of hell? Have you ever seen hell when it forms in the cloud? Nobody knows what that looks like. Nobody knows what hell looks like inside of a cloud. Nobody knows what snow looks like inside of a cloud. Look at raindrops. Look at a cloud. Go look up in the sky, look at the clouds. How can that cloud, a sheer cloud, if you ever been on an airplane, and Rika, you ever been on an airplane? I know Trey, Trey, you been on the plane, right? Yeah, 'cause we went to Vegas. When you flew through the clouds, what did that look like? Like mist, like fog, right? How is it that that thing that you just flew through like it was nothing become a plastic bag of sack for water? How can, huh? That's crazy. It's a cloud is like it's nothing. It's not even an object that's held together. It's just mist. It's crazy, yeah. Yet it holds water to the degree when there's so much water held in it, it bursts forth and rain. Or it creates, if it's cold, it creates snow, and that snow is held in there like a bag. But if you fly through it, you won't even see the snow. Crazy, crazy. So have you ever entered the treasury of the snow? Have you ever seen the treasury of hell? A treasury is like a building, like a safe, like a vault. That's what he's saying. Have you ever entered the vault of snow? A place where snow is stored, a place where hell is stored, which I have reserved for the time of trouble, for the day of battle and war? By what way is light diffused, or the east wind scattered over the earth? Come on, tell me. Who has divided a channel for the overflowing water, or a path for the thunderbolt? Who does that? To cause it to rain on a land where there is no one, a wilderness in which there is no man. Who does that? To satisfy the desolate waste and cause to spring forth the growth of tender grass. Has the rain a father? Or who has begotten the drops of dew? From whose womb comes the ice and the frost of heaven? Who gives it birth? Who does that? The waters harden like stone, and the surface of the deep is frozen. Can you bind the cluster of Pleiades? However you say that. That's what's that in astrology? The zodiacs or whatever. That's what that is. That's a constellation. Or loose the belt of Orion. Those are constellations. So it says, can you bind those? Can you loose the belt of Orion? And look at I'm talking about, you talk about facetious, being straight facetious. This is the belt of Orion. So this is the constellation. So Orion supposed to be the archer. It's a man. Then that's his bow and arrow. It's his arm up, ready for war, and that's supposed to be a belt. So he's being so funny as to say, can you go up there and make these stars be out of line? That's what he's saying. Can you do that? Can you bring, and he talked about the constellation of Orion as if it's a real person, like he wearing a real belt. But he's being metaphoric and facetious or figurative by saying, can you loose his belt? Can you bring out Maseroth in the season? Or can you guide the great bear with its cubs? Like if you walking through the forest and you run into a black bear and she got cubs, what you think she finna do? You see what I'm saying? Because she don't know if you're a threat or not. But if you buy her, she got her cubs and you buy her, you done. And God said, "Can you guide her? Can you guide the great bear with his cubs? If you run up on the bear, is he gonna? Can you talk to the bear and make her understand that you just trying to lead her to food? Can you do? No, you can't. Do you know the ordinances of the heavens? Can you set their dominion over the earth? Can you lift up your voice to the clouds? That an abundance of water may cover you? Can you just go outside? It's hot, you hot, and you look up to the clouds and tell the clouds to rain on you, and it does it? Can you command that? Can you send out lightnings that they may go, or say to you, here we are. Can you call the lightnings and command it where to strike? That's what he's saying. If you didn't like somebody, can you tell the lightning to strike them down? And they're there to serve you and do exactly as you asked them to do. Who has put wisdom in the mind, or who has given understanding to the heart? Who can number the clouds by wisdom, or who can pour out the bottles of heaven? When the dust hardens in clumps and the clouds cling together, can you hunt the prey for the lion, or satisfy the appetite of the young lions? When they crouch in their dens or lurk in their lairs to lie in wait, who provides food for the raven when its young ones cry to God and wander about for lack of food? Let's read the last. It's only like a couple more verses. I ain't gonna read all of it, but we're gonna read his restoration. But all right. God, he continues to give him that work. Nigga, what? What, nigga? Nigga, oh, nah, nigga, nah, nigga, nah, nigga, nah, 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 nigga. Nah, nigga, you doing all that talking, my nigga. Look at all this stuff he asking him, right? Moreover, the Lord answered Job and said, shall the one who contends with the Almighty correct him? He who rebukes God, let him answer it then. Job responded. Job answered the Lord and said, behold, I am vile. That nigga like, oh, sorry, God. I'm vile. I'm disgusting. What shall I answer you? I lay my hand over my mouth. Once I have spoken, but I will not answer. Yes, twice, but I will proceed no further. Then God said, nah, nigga, I ain't done. Then the Lord answered Job out of whirlwind and said, now prepare yourself like a man. I will question you, and you shall answer me again. Would you indeed annul my judgment, nigga? Would you condemn me that I may be justified? Have you an arm like God, nigga? Or can you thunder with a voice like his? Then adorn yourself with majesty and splendor, then, and array yourself in glory and beauty. Disperse the rage of your wrath, nigga. Come do something to me, nigga. Do it, nigga. Yo, okay, you said, okay, nigga, you said I ain't fair. Nigga, come put hands on me then. That's what God's saying to Job. I mean, he flexing. Flexing. I'm talking about nigga, God, like, nigga, hold up, cuz. Hold up, cuz. Who these niggas think I am? I don't know who y'all niggas down there thinking I am. Look on everyone who is proud and humble him. Look at what he told Job. Go find a big, strong, proud nigga and make that nigga humble himself. Go find the mighty and make him humble himself. Go put hands on the rock, nigga. Go beat up John Bone Jones, nigga. Let's see you humble. Let's see you make him humble. Let's see you make him cry. That's what he's saying. Look on everyone who is proud and bring him low. Tread down the wicked in their place. Hide them in the dust together. Bind their faces in hidden darkness. Then I will also confess to you that your own right hand can save you. Then I'll tell you, I'll praise you, Job. Look now at the behemoth, which I made along with you. He eat grass like an ox. See, now his strength is in his hips, and his powers is in the stomach, in his stomach muscles. He moves his tail like a cedar. The sinews of his thighs are tightly knit. This is a dinosaur, ladies and gentlemen. Look, this is the depiction, the behemoth that he just described. This is what he's described. Now, some people, they go all out. I don't know about this one. You know what I'm saying? Now they're saying it's this, but no, that's not. That's not that. It's not that. This is a descendant of something of old. This thing that he described is something gigantic. Say he moves his tail like a cedar. A cedar was the biggest trees in Lebanon. That's what the cedars were. They were big, tall, gigantic trees. the cedars of Lebanon. So these were the cedars of Lebanon. See these gigantic, look like pine trees looking things. So the animal that he's describing, his tail, he's comparing his tail to this, to a cedar tree, a huge, gigantic, thick tail. So his bones are like beams of bronze, his ribs like bars of iron. He is the first of the ways of God. Only he who made him can bring near his sword. The only person who can come and hunt him is the person who made him. Surely the mountains yield food for him, and all the beasts of the field play there. He lies under the lotus tree in a covert of reeds and marsh. The lotus trees cover him with their shade. The willows by the brook surround him. Indeed, the river may rage, yet he is not disturbed. So in flash floods and all that used to happen, and all, he don't even move. It says he is confident, though the Jordan gushes out of his mouth, though he takes it in his eyes. Dang, man, hey, man, God forgive me, no Diddy. Oh. Ah, though the Jordan gushes into his mouth, though he takes it in his eyes, or one pierces his nose with a snare. It's like there's nothing you can do with this animal. Look at the Leviathan. Can you draw out the Leviathan with a hook, or snare his tongue with the line which you lure? Can you put a reed through his nose, or pierce his jaw with a hook? Will he make many supplications to you? Will he speak softly to you? Will he make a covenant with you? Will you take him as a servant forever? Will you play with him as with a bird, nigga? Or will you leash him for your maidens? Will your companions make a banquet for him of him? Will they apportion him among the merchants? Like I'm talking about, you talk about a flex. Can you fish his skin with harpoons or his head with fishing spears? This is something that they couldn't do nothing with. This is a sea creature, some sea animal that existed during the time of Job that these niggas couldn't do nothing with him. Look, lay your hand on him. Remember the battle. You will never do it again. In hope, indeed, any hope of overcoming him is false. Shall one not be overwhelmed at the sight of him? Like just seeing him makes a nigga panic. Whatever this animal, because this animal is all through the Bible. This Leviathan was a dread. They fear. An Israelite didn't even sail the seas. They did not sail the seas in fear of this Leviathan creature, whatever it was. They were terrified of it. And here is God flexing saying, nigga, if you go to war with him, if you go out and touch this nigga, you will never do it again. That nigga eat your arm off. You're gonna always remember. That's what he said. He's saying you're gonna remember the battle and you will never do it again. Who has preceded me that I should pay him? Everything under the heaven is mine. I will not conceal his limb. So the most high flex, 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 right? Then this is how Job responds, which this is how we should respond. Then Job answered the Lord and said, I know that you can do everything and that no purpose of yours can be withheld from you. You ask, who is this who hides counsel without knowledge? Therefore, I have uttered what I did not understand, things too wonderful for me, which I did not know. Listen, please, and let me speak. You said, I will question you and you shall answer me. I have heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you. Therefore, I abhor myself and repent in dust and ashes. Now, did he physically see God? Literally? No. He's saying, I understand. He said, I've heard of you by hearing. They didn't have Bibles. Job wasn't reading a Bible. Job didn't have a book to read about God. He just heard about God and he had faith in God and he believed in God and he lived according to the laws that he heard God had commanded for his people to follow. He said, but now I understand you. That's what he's saying. But now my eyes see you. No, now I get it. My eyes are open. I understand now. Therefore, because I see you now in a proper light, I hate myself and repent in dust and ashes. And so it was after the Lord had spoken these words to Job that the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, my wrath is aroused against you and your two friends, for you have not spoken to me what is right, as my servant Job has. That's why we got to be careful what we say about God. We got to be careful how we talk about what he do, how he move, and we got to be right about that. It says, now therefore, take for yourselves 7 bulls and 7 rams. Go to my servant Job and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering, and my servant Job shall pray for you. For I will accept him, lest I deal with you according to your folly, because you have not spoken of me what is right, and my servant Job has. So Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite went and did as the Lord commanded them, for the Lord had accepted Job, and the Lord restored Job's losses when he prayed for his friends. Indeed, the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Then all his brothers, all his sisters, and all those who had been his acquaintances before came to him and ate food with him in his house. And they consoled him and comforted him for all the adversity that the Lord had brought upon him. Each one gave him a piece of silver and each a ring of gold. Look how dirty these niggas is. The whole time they know nobody came pulled up on that nigga except for the other niggas. Now all of a sudden, God give him his crib back, give him his money back, and he good. Now they want to come pull up and eat the nigga food, just like some niggas. Huh? That's how niggas be. Now, straight up, just like a nigga, just like a nigga. Now the Lord blessed the latter days of Job more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 female donkeys. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he called the name of his first Jemima. That sound racist. Jemima. That's Aunt Jemima. Yeah, like the syrup, right? But hey, it's not racist. That was the name. Let me see what that name is. Let's look at that right quick. Jemima or Yemima. Yemima. Look, day by day. So this is the lesson he learned. So his firstborn he named it day by day, right? Day by it's the lesson he learned. Life you got to take life day by day. See how he learned the lessons. He was speaking words without knowledge. God taught him through his adversity. Same thing he said about the kings that he put them in chains and fetters. Then he's able to talk to them and teach them. It's the adversity. That's the point. It's the trials, the fire, the hardships, the hard stuff you got to go through. You got to go through it in order to learn, but that's how you learn. And you're supposed to learn. And if not, then you have to go through it again. But Job learned. Let's see what he names his other one. Kasiah. Kasiah. Okay. So uh uh Cassia. It don't say what the meaning is. Let me see. Cassia bark. A bark similar to cinnamon, but less aromatic. So called from this being peeled off. Okay, so cinnamon, so spice or aroma. I don't know what why you did that. Karen Hop Karen Hapuk. Dang, you got a horn of antimony. Horn of antimony. What is antimony? What is antimony? One of y'all know what that means? Horn of cosmetic. Antimony is a silver white metalloid element found in the Earth's crust, primarily in. Okay, so this is a mineral, cosmetic. So the horn of beauty. That's I guess that's what that would mean because that's what it was used for skin. It would be like I guess like shea butter, and then in all the land were found no women so beautiful as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them an inheritance among their brothers. After this, Job lived 140 years and saw his children and grandchildren for 4 generations. And so Job died old and full of days. Gave him a good ending, right? And that's the lesson, right? The lesson is in the moment, it don't feel good when you go through trials. No trials, no tribulation, no fire feels good. And you don't always understand what's the purpose of it and what it's for. But in it, what you want to do is always make the right decisions. If there was sin, then repent, right? And speak of God in rightness and righteousness. Bless God in the midst of your trials. Like give him glory. Don't ask why me? Why you do me like this? No, seek to understand why he did it. Why did he do it? Why don't ask it in the you're unrighteous for doing this way. Like, why you do me like this? Why me? Right? But if you say why you do this? Like, why did you? Like, as a real question, like, what is the lesson you want me to learn? That's the attitude we should have. What do you want me to learn from this? Did I bring this on myself? Did I do something that could have prevented it? Because you're not gonna always be in the fire. It's not gonna all it this nobody knows how long this lasted for Job. It sounds like it didn't this sounds like years. This sounds like years. That this lasted for years. See what I'm saying? But I mean he in the beginning, as it said, by this Job did not sin with his lips. By this Job did not sin. Like it started off like that. But after a while, he got weary and he got frustrated. And he started, man, this ain't right. Man, God doing me unfairly. Man, I'm righteous. Man, how you doing me like this? And I do this for people, and I do that for people. And I'm always and I'm and then his friends come along and they're like, nigga, shut up, nigga. You know you done sin, nigga. Just go on, man, admit it. Right? And then you have the young man give him a perspective and say, hey, bro, like, let's keep it a being. Nobody, I'm not saying you're a wicked man, but come on, man. We all mess up sometimes. But to sit and say that God is doing something unfair is crazy. That's God, bro. He's not unjust. And if you didn't do anything to deserve this, you have to remember that God does what he want to do. He's God. He's always righteous. So if he did this, then obviously it's something for you to learn. And then God comes behind him and say, yeah, nigga, with your big mouth, you talking all that, nigga speaking on my name. Nigga, let me ask, nigga, where was you at? Nigga, when I created the earth. Well, nigga, tell me the angel that laid the foundation. No, I ain't trying to hear that. Nigga, tell me the angel that did it. Tell me where the light stays. Tell me where the darkness sleeps. Tell me, nigga. Like tell me, nigga, have you ever seen the chambers of death? Do you know where people go when they die? Do you know what that looks like? Have you ever seen them all in their sleep and resting? Have you ever seen that? Do you know when a person comes to the brink of death and they don't die, and the death angel, quote unquote, leaves them? Do you see what door he walks through? Do you see the dimension that he goes through? Do you see when the dimensional space opens up? Do you see that? I do. So nigga, you don't know nothing about nothing that's going on. Just because you old don't mean you smart, my nigga. And he showed him that. And then that's Job repented. Forgive me. And then when he came to his friends, he like, nah, nigga, go get some animals, take them to Job. I accepted Job. Job, he'll pray for you. Cause nigga, I'm about to kill one of y'all niggas for disrespecting my name. Right. And see, he didn't say nothing about Eliphaz. I mean, what was the nigga name that was Elihu? He didn't say nothing about Elihu. So it was just Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. Them the niggas that got checked, right? So And then because of Job's repentance, the Most High was able to restore him. He learned his lesson, and he learned a valuable lesson. And the valuable lesson he had to learn was God is God. I am nothing in comparison to God. Now I understand you. Now I see you're a God who does what he want to do. I've heard about you, but I've heard if you do good, then God will do good to you. And if you don't do no evil, then God will protect you from evil. But now I see, nah, you do what you want to do, and you try men with trials, and he passed the test. That's what God wanted him to learn. And at the end of the, that's what he showed him. But the whole thing was, hey, I'm gonna test to see if you're really about that life, if you're really righteous or not. And he stood on his square. He sinned with his mouth because he was speaking words without knowledge, but he didn't do, and he was beginning to feel like maybe I should just be a sinner. And that's what his friend was telling him. No, don't do that. It's so much stuff we can learn from the story of Job, you know. So, huh? Yeah. So hopefully, hopefully that brought some clarity into, what you've been reading, and hopefully it's some stuff y'all can take and apply to your own life. You know. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, look, the Book of Job. I used to think that book. I used to be like, man, I got to read the Book of Job, man, so I can get a job, my nigga. Book of Job. Book of Job teach you how to get a job, nigga. Teach you about working and stuff. Get some money, nigga, out here. All right. And that is the knowledge. Exactly. It's a wealth of knowledge. You get riches. It's mug is rich with wisdom. Like that's what you get from the Book of Job. You get a lot of wisdom, a lot of understanding. You know what I'm saying? And that's the lesson. Like the lesson through this is at the end of the day, God does what he wants to do. And he's gonna test us to see if we're really what we say we are. And if we really are what we say we are, it'll come out. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, even though we may drop the ball, we may fumble, we may sin, it doesn't mean it have to define us. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the lesson from Job. I think the lesson from Job is that God is going to try the heart. He's going to try you. He's going to test you, and it's your responsibility to pass the test. Like simple as that. So, but yeah, so I think that should conclude that. I think that was pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Good little powwow. So yeah, for sure, for sure. Y'all straight up? What y'all about to get? Well, never mind. Yeah, y'all chilling. So all right. Well, I'm gonna chill too. I'm gonna let y'all go. Let y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate this. I think this was a good idea. I might just do that every, it feels Sunday. Click on and just have it on for an hour or two, and then if somebody hop on, they hop on. If not, ain't no big deal. You know what I'm saying? So that way, if you might be chilling, 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 and then okay, I got a question. You'll know I'll be on at one. I'll be in here, and with my game or something. If I see you pop on, I get on mute. Hey, what's good? And I engage, and we can just go from there. And if not, ain't no biggie. All right, but yeah, so but that's it. Love y'all too. Y'all be safe too, and enjoy the rest of y'all Sabbath. What's up? What's cracking? Man, let me get it fixed first. Yeah, let me get it fixed first. So I get it fixed, then we'll have that conversation. Because right now it ain't worth nothing to nobody right now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we'll chop.